Live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, the DNC is over. The Democratic National Convention has come to a conclusion. A lot of cringe-worthy moments. Kamala came out there looking like Hillary Clinton in 2008. It was a mess. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, RFK Jr. has dropped out and endorsed President Trump. Came out there on stage. I think he may have said a few words. I didn't hear the speech. But he came out on stage, gave him the handshake, and gave him the go-ahead. We'll talk about that and more from RFK a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Jermaine Dupri, crisscross, jump, Bow Wow, balling out of control, a music mogul, the Atlanta Puff Daddy with no Diddy parties and no weird stuff. He's questioning Kamala like, hey, what's going on? You talking about you're going to do a middle-class tax cut, all this, that, and the third. Why can't you do that right now when you're already in office? It's a great question. Although some are going to ridicule him for it, it's still a great question. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Chinese so-called migrants, illegal aliens, asylum seekers, border hoppers, gotaways, whatever you want to call them, are coming here in droves, and they're paying big American money to do it. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a whole lot going on tonight. There is quite a bit happening, quite a bit we got to get into. So it was a speech. Thank you, Golf and Guns. Yeah, I sometimes I miss things. I'm gonna try to see if I can find some of that, and then we'll get into it. But again, shout out to you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. Please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. There's a whole lot going on. All right. Hey, Apple, you're funny. The super chat right here. You want me to do that Power Rangers putty voice? Man, I was kind of just in the moment, man. I might not be able to get that particular impression back. If it comes back to me, man, I'm gonna definitely lace you with the putty's Power Rangers impression. But shout out to y'all for being here tonight. You guys are the best. We got a lot going on, but some of y'all talking about the potential switch. I'm hearing about the switch. So I ain't talking about video games. I ain't talking about Nintendo. I'm talking about, there's a rumor that President Trump may switch or swap JD Vance for RFK Jr. Now, I don't see that happening. Listen, RFK is cool. I like RFK, but RFK has a whole skeleton. He has dinosaur bones in his closet. He has big skeletons in the closet. And again, I like RFK. Don't get it twisted. But number one, I don't like him that much. and number two, there's some skeletons in the closet. And when you get to a certain position like vice president, president, or whatever, they're going to go through your past with a fine-tooth comb. With a fine-tooth comb. Now, they went through J.D. Vance's past with a fine-tooth comb. The best they were able to find is a picture of him in the wig and the dress in college, okay, when he was 19 years old, or him in a high school yearbook picture with some girls in the bathroom when they're posing with a photographer in there and they fully got their clothes on. Ain't no freaky stuff happening, okay? J.D. Vance looking like a regular kid. So there's nothing really to find on J.D. Vance as far as his past. Although Tim Walz weirdly is trying to attack him for being successful coming from Appalachia. So I guess in order to be from Appalachia, you got to just be poor, destitute. You got to smoke crack for a living. You got to be one of them. That's kind of what I'm getting. And maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's the general vibe I'm getting. Okay, you're from Appalachia. You grew up in an environment that's poor. Then you got to be poor too. You got to be on the ground, not moving, on drugs. You got to weigh 500 pounds. That's what they think about us in Appalachia. That's classism, ain't it? It's funny how they talk about all these obics, obes, and this, but everything they do against us represents the obics, obes, and this. The whole thing about pronouns and gender being irrelevant, but yet they want to talk about fighting for women's rights. So which one is it? Does gender exist or not? How are you going to fight for women's rights when you don't know what a woman is? There's a video on that. We'll get to that a little bit later. But their sex is everything. If a man says something about women or anything, then you're mansplaining. Why is this man talking about this, all this, that, and the third? Have you guys noticed that? I know I have. I know I for 100% sure have noticed that. So it's weird. But yeah, that's kind of how the left, that's kind of how they do. But like I said, RFK, big skeletons in the closet. So if you were to put him right there as a VP, that'd be a whole round of news. And one more time for those in the back, I like RFK, but I know how the media operate. Even the Fox would be dogpiling on RFK. Please believe it. And if the switch happens, if Trump, for some reason, which I don't think he would do, and I don't even know why he would do that. Why would Trump switch out JD Vance? It doesn't make any sense. You already committed to him. Just go ahead and rock with him. He has the book, super smart guy, and he's from Ohio. That's going to help you in the election with the Midwest vote, the Ohio vote specifically. That's going to help you in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan, perhaps. It's going to help you. It's going to help you in Wisconsin, like even as far as Wisconsin, even as far as the Great Lakes, because Ohio is right there. So, yeah, I think he's going to stick with JD Vance. All right. But yeah, shout out to the Appalachians. All right. We're not all just, crack smokers. Just like the Los Angelinos. You guys don't all shoot heroin all day and doodle on the ground. Okay. We know you have those vagrants who are out there doing that. But I know a lot of you guys got big money. Southern California. Oh, yeah. You guys got big money. You out there in supercars. You out there in Porsches, McLarens, all kind of stuff. You guys are doing it really big. Yeah. Southern California, a little bit too rich for my blood. It's a teeny bit too rich for my blood. You guys are balling way out of control. I can't keep up. But you do have the crackhead population out there that kind of makes things weird for you. But anyway, shout out to you, Prima Pionera from Costa Rica. Shout out to all the worldwide listeners. Shout out to the Americans, of course. Okay, America, we the best. That's where I'm at. Born and raised for generations upon generations ago. Ain't no African American, 100% American. Blue passport, both parents, born in America, grandparents, great-grandparents. We go all the way back to the boat. Ain't no, African American. When someone says that to me, it kind of dismisses my place in America. Like I ain't been here since the beginning like everybody else, aside from the natives. And I got a splash of native. I'm like Pocahontas. I got the 0.1. I could claim that too. At the end of the day, we're Americans. That's just what it is. I don't like the whole division. Oh, you're other American. No, I'm an American. That passport, that blue passport is blue for everybody. That's one thing, that color don't matter when it comes to your passport. We could talk about color here and squabble over that in the United States, but when we go overseas, what matters? You got a blue passport? I'm using this light. You got a blue passport? That's all that really matters. Your color don't even make a difference. But anyway, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. Before we get to the videos, y'all know how I do. Shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will be in the box, or just go to patriotpost.us in the browser. Tell them that ABL sent you. Go to ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, go to the regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. You'll be able to find articles for each video that I produce. And in each article, you'll have sources from the left, from the right, from the politically center, agnostic, Democrat, Republican, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it as long as it's legal. I'm going to post it right there on the website. Again, AnthonyBLogan.com. Also, go to the contact page of the website, AnthonyBLogan.com/contact us, or click on the menu and just drop down, go to the contact feature. And that page will have my email address, my snail mail address, my UPS box, my social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on TikTok now as well. I got to join the Gen Zs. They pretty much bully me into doing it. Get on TikTok, Unc. You'll do great, Unc. Anyway, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, never going to call it X. All those links are right there on the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. And as I always say, please, please, please be aware of the scammers. Y'all know how it goes. I'll post a video and then you guys will reply or comment under the video. And then someone who may look like me with my picture and a similar name or the same name as me will reply to your comment talking about I can get you 500,000 acres in Omaha, Nebraska. Just send me X amount of money in Apple iTunes gift cards and we'll make it happen. I'm here to tell you today, it's not me. I promise it's not. You guys treat me very well from watching the video, super chatting or whatever. I don't need to be in the comments talking about send me an Apple iTunes gift card. That's going to be somebody over in Nigeria, the Yahoo boys, who do this for a full-time living, okay? I don't want to get no emails talking about, I thought I could trust you. Well, you could trust me perfectly fine because I'm not the one that took your Apple iTunes gift cards and your Bitcoin or whatnot. It was that dude over there living 18-1 in a small little shack in Lagos, Nigeria. Or it'd be some 100 million pound dude who takes up the entire crawl space of some block over in Eastern Europe, okay? Covered in head to toe, borched. They poured or borched on top of him from a little hole in the ceiling. He's completely covered. He has one of the first flip phones ever to be created, a Kyocera, a Nokia, a Motorola, and he's scamming you on there. He's texting you by pushing the same button 45 times to make one letter, all right? He sounds like Ivan Drago from Rocky. If he dies, he dies. He sounds like a Nigerian. Send me the cards right now. We don't have time for this, huh? Do not listen to the ABL on the screen. That's artificial intelligence. It's not real. I'm the real deal. Don't listen to these guys, man. They're going to scam you every time. So you got my disclaimer. I don't want to get no more emails. And if you draft in the email talking about ABL scammed you, go ahead and delete that, okay? Go ahead and delete that. Call the authorities. Try to get some of your money back, which ain't going to happen because they can't trace them gift cards or the Bitcoin. But anyway, shout out to you guys. I'm glad you're here. And speaking about strange things, I put it to you this way. I wanted to start here. This is kind of a random way to start, but I wanted to start here because it kind of didn't really fit into the rest of my show I got lined up. But remember the pilot who got high on shrooms and tried to crash the plane? Well, he's speaking out and explaining why he did what he did. All right, let's check it out. And RIP to the headphone users in advance.
I did something unfathomable to me, something I have to take responsibility for, and I regret.
This morning, Joseph Emerson, the Alaska Airlines pilot, now facing 84 charges after allegedly trying to take down a passenger jet in October, speaking on camera for the first time as he awaits trial.
Sarah and I would like our story to be of some value, right? We think it tells the larger story on pilot health.
It was last October when Emerson was catching a ride in the cockpit jump seat on a flight from Everett, Washington to San Francisco, when he says nothing felt real.
So the jump seat, I think what they said is like a little seat, a little spare seat they have in the cockpit. So I don't believe he was flying the plane like they said. He was just in the cockpit on a little courtesy seat they give you getting the ride back to the house. He wasn't flying the plane, but he was in the cockpit, so he had access to the controls.
There was a feeling of being trapped. Like, am I trapped in this airplane? This is not real. I need to wake up.
Emerson says he had taken psychedelic mushrooms for the first time 2 days before the flight, thinking they might help with depression, but believes he was still hallucinating during that flight. He stood up and pulled handles in the cockpit that are meant to shut off the engines in the case of a fire. It didn't work, and if it had, that could have brought the plane down.
Now, let's pause. So you hearing what's going on. He got high 2 days before he got on this flight. Well, I'm not sure if he got high at that moment. He took some shrooms. Now, the thing about these drugs, I keep trying to tell people about these drugs, man. Like, when you have psychoactive things that make you, see things and hallucinate or get paranoid, that's when you're going to have problems. So, hey, if you want to do these kind of drugs, I don't recommend it, especially not if you're going to be on an airplane with access to the actual cockpit. Even if you're not flying, you're not seeing things properly. So you're going to do things that don't make any sense, because if your mind is compromised, you're really gonna have a hard time, and you're not knowing what you're doing at all.
There are 2 red handles in front of my face.
Oh, somebody said, Ember, 2 days. Okay. With the eye roll. I feel you. 2 days might have been more like 2 hours. I feel you 100%.
Thinking that I was going to wake up, thinking this is my way to get out of this non-real reality. I reached up and I grabbed and I pulled the levers.
Did you know what the levers were at the time?
What I thought is, this is going to wake me up. I know what those levers do in a real airplane, right? And I need to wake up from this. It's 30 seconds of my life I wish I could change, and I can't.
Yeah, man. Like, he needs to go to the penitentiary, because the moral of the story is maybe you shouldn't be getting high before you get on the airplane when you have access to the controls. You're putting people in danger. Maybe he thought, oh, I ain't going to fly. Here's what he said. It was 2 days. Now, I don't know how they're going to trace that in your system. If they can trace the shrooms in your system, like if they do a tox, can they even trace that? Because I'm not sure if they can actually trace it. But even if they could trace it, I don't know if they're going to be able to determine what time he actually took the shrooms. So he may be okay when it comes to that. But still, he probably took them right before he got on the plane, thinking, I'm not going to be flying. I'll be all right. Everything's everything. But it wasn't okay. It wasn't fine. And he tripped out, had a bad trip, tweaked out, and tried to crash the plane.
Observe the pilots react to the difficult situation that I just handed. And I said, you guys want me off the flight deck? I'm off the flight deck.
He left the cockpit, listened to one of the pilots.
We've got the guy that tried to shut the engines down out of the cockpit.
Emerson says he then tried to grab the handle of an emergency exit door, but a flight attendant stopped him.
And I put my hand on the lever. I didn't operate the lever. She put her hand on mine. And I think around that period is when I said, I don't understand what's real. I need you to tough cuff me.
In the air, he texted his wife.
So he said, I made a big mistake. What's up? Are you okay? I'm not okay. He says, I'm not okay. There's more. I ain't gonna play the whole 5-minute video, but you get the general gist of what's happening. So yeah, you're trying to open the door, you're trying to shut off the engines with emergency handles. Sir, you're doing way too much. So again, man, you guys out here to do drugs. Hey man, I'm not trying to be the police of what you do. I don't recommend you do drugs. I recommend you keep your body clean and keep your mind focused and sharp, but I'm not here to be the police. What I will say is, if you operate in heavy equipment like, I don't know, an airplane, or if you could be in the vicinity of the controls that do operate the plane, like in the jump seat of the cockpit, maybe you shouldn't be getting high on psychedelic drugs. I'm just saying, a little bit of common sense goes a far way. I was reading, I was watching this video about Nigerian parents and how they discipline their children, which is hilarious because it's similar to Black American, depending on where you grew up. And what was the insult? I think I said it last time. Common sense is not a flower that grows in your garden. That's kind of how I feel about him. But anyway, now speaking about drugs and weird things, Nancy Pelosi, is she trying to tell us something right here? Or are we getting the coded message? Is she just coming out in plain sight? Let's hear this right quick, shall we?
But they didn't know what they were talking about. We know we're different from the presidential. We're very discreet.
Hold on, I'm sorry, you can't see it. My fault.
But they didn't know what they were talking about. We know we're different from the presidential. We're very discreet, reptilian, cold-blooded. These are the races we have to win.
So are you trying to tell us something right now, Nancy Pelosi? Because we've long suspected that you have lizard ancestry, okay? The whole color argument might be a ruse, a way to misdirect us from the real thing. What's really going on? Do you have reptilian ancestry? Do you have, remember those old videos back in the day where their eyes would blink like a snake? Do you have that going on, Nancy Pelosi? Is that why you drink so much of the alcohol? It only really affects you. You just kind of in your regular state. I don't know what's happening here. One more time, please.
They didn't know what they were talking about. We know we're different from the presidential. We're very discreet, reptilian, cold-blooded. These are the races we have to win. Others are winning the whole country.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, man, it's to the point now where I don't even know what's going on. Maybe that explains the whole Paul Pelosi thing. Maybe he was getting his shedding skin taken off by the guy that came in there. I don't know what happened, man. It might have just been a bad delivery. But yeah, these people, I don't doubt it. I hear a lot of these conspiracy theories about reptilian, all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that they are actually lizards, but let's just say, for example, if one of these guys got on TV and just busted out of his skin suit, and then it was a whole Komodo dragon up underneath that's 5'5", I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be clutching my pearls. I wouldn't be panicking, and I'd be like, yeah, that's about right. That's about right. I wouldn't even trip. Okay. Now, here's an interesting video from Tucker. I'm not quite sure who the man is he's speaking to, but he's speaking about maskers. Okay. Speaking about maskers.
Someone just sent me video.
RIP to the headphone user. Sorry for the loud noise.
Of the protesters outside the DNC.
Yeah.
So I guess almost by definition, even crazier than the people inside the DNC. And the first thing you notice is they're all wearing masks outside. And I don't want to be mean. Mental illness is real. They're obviously mentally ill.
Definitely.
But what's so interesting is I never see that in my life. Do you ever see anybody wearing masks outside?
Well, I live near Washington, so yes.
Oh, yeah. If you're living in D.C., you're going to see that. Oh, and speaking of Washington, I was just thinking about the movie. I was spoken about it before. Not Idiocracy, but Devil's Advocate. In my opinion, Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino, it was an accurate portrayal of Washington, D.C. social life. And what they do to climb to a certain level, it was very, very accurate. Now, as far as the ultimate message, that's a different story. But when there was one particular scene that stood out to me, when the guy was jogging, I forget his name, kind of a husky, white male actor. I forget his name. You guys might know what I'm talking about. He's jogging, and then he's being attacked by demons. It looks like regular people, but then when you kind of do a double take, their faces change to demonic faces. You see quite a bit of that in DC. There's some really evil and crazy people out there when you're talking about high levels, when you're getting into some of these spaces, some of these rooms. That's the thing that Madison Cawthorn encountered when they asked him, hey, you want to come to this party? It's a kind of an adult party at my home. That's the kind of thing that you're going to run into in Washington, D.C. all the time.
You actually do now?
Yeah, but so there are categories of people, I think, who are just neurotic and who've been misled, especially by the left.
And somebody got that. Hold on. Come on, man. You got that from my description. You got it perfectly. Jeffrey Jones. Yeah, this guy right here. Hold on. You nailed it, hit nail right on the head. So it's this guy I'm speaking about. Yeah. I'm surprised that vague description got you to give me the person. You guys are so smart, man. I'm telling you.
And they wear the mask still up until this very day.
Do you know how bad that is for your health?
It's awful. It's awful. It's also,
I'd rather smoke cigarettes any day.
I actually think the cost to socialization is even worse. It's like your health is awful, but like what does that say about you and how isolated you are from the rest of society?
Yes.
That can't be good for your head. And the truth is, I don't think it's for like a lot of these people. I don't really think in the end it's really about the health. They maybe soothe themselves by saying that.
Right.
Fundamentally, it's a political gesture. I'm a part of a club. It's a uniform. It's signaling you're with the left. And they're still doing it to this day. It's like crazy.
I think I'm just too out of it. I mean, because I see that and I'm like, okay, especially if it's a man, you're totally emasculated.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. Seeing a man with a mask on. It's like, look, it's 2024. The initial fear and paranoia of the virus is over. When the virus first came out, it was so much fear stoked. People were so afraid to leave the house. People are really scared in this country, and it showed during C-19. But now, in 2024, the fear, the paranoia, everything is gone. And a lot of these people are vaccinated. So the ones who are vaccinated voluntarily, think that the vaccination protects them from the virus. So if you're protected from the virus, why do you have a vaccination? Like, or if you, why do you have a mask on if you got the vaccination? You see what I'm saying? You're already straight. You're good. Why are you wearing the mask still? It's because they're trying to virtue signal to people. Look at me. I'm righteous. I'm moral. I don't want to kill mama. That's what's happening with that, in my opinion.
And pathetic.
Definitely.
You have no self-respect at all. You hate yourself, and for good reason. That's the first thing I think. With contempt, but also pity.
The whole mask thing was a mess from the beginning, especially what wound up happening now where they're trying to pass ordinances to ban masks in certain cities. The same cities had ordinances that mandated the masks. Now they're saying, okay, let's go ahead and rescind that and ban them. The federale is talking about wearing a mask. Anthony Fauci talking about wearing a mask. Your employers, airlines, private companies, everybody talking about that. Now they're trying to say don't wear it. It's crazy. So for the government to just change their mind like that, that lets you know that they don't really know what they're doing. They're just kind of putting stuff out there. These people are, at the end of the day, human beings. They really aren't that smart. When you're looking at these officials and those who can change your life, you're dealing with some dumb people a lot of times. You guys in the chat are light years smarter than a lot of these people in the federal government, especially on the left. Everything to them is about trying to be a virtue signaler and trying to just appeal to people and look a certain way rather than doing what's best for the lives of everyday American citizens. All right. Now, this person right here got a little bit unhinged because there was a Trump rally near his home and he put out some homemade signs to insult or to offend the people who are leaving the rally on that main street right there. Check it out. It might be a little bit of cussing. Don't blame me. Blame the white man.
This is what the Klan meeting has to look at when they get out of the KKK meeting.
So if you can't see what's on the screen, he has a handmade sign, looks like some spray paint, not very high contrast, sir. I need you to, you have yellow writing on white sheet of paper affixed to a wood board. It says vote Harris Waltz. And it's just spray painted. I can't see that. And it's daytime, it's the sun shining. That's going to just blend into the background. But it says vote Harris Waltz. And there's one more he's going to show.
They have to see my sign.
And then he has this beat up pickup truck that looks like it came from the 1980s. And it says F Trump, a very vulgar way to say he doesn't like Trump, but it says F Trump. And we have North Carolina plates. Where do you think my man, where do you think he is? We like some of the backwood part of Asheville, one of these California people that went out to Appalachia trying to be big tough guy. What's going on?
Signs. KKK meeting's over, dude. Drive on.
All right. We don't got to hear the foul language, my man. Sir, we don't got to hear the foul language. But yeah, you can kind of see what's going on. Now, you got to be unhinged to do something like that, man. You're going to just sit out on the highway and scream at people? Is that what you're going to do? Just go out there and scream at people? I mean, you might as well go down to downtown Los Angeles and join the crackheads and screaming at people. You guys can have a whole contest. Who can scream the loudest? Who can scream the most? You should do that rather than being out there in that particular part of the country. Now, speaking about scamdemic, speaking about that time during C-19 when everybody was so scared to leave the house, scared to do anything, there were some things that were taken away. I spoke about this recently with somebody talking about Wally World, Walmart. Walmart used to be a 24-hour spot. Okay, hey, it's 12 a.m. and I need toilet paper right now. I'm talking about immediately. It's an emergency. And every other spot is closed. But I know trusty old Wally World, Walmart is going to have my back. They're going to be open. Okay, it's 12:30 a.m. I'm about to die if I don't go to the toilet right now. Walmart got my back. But now, at least where I live, I think in certain parts of the country is different, but at least where I live, Walmart, 11 o'clock, they close. 11 o'clock, they close. And one thing that changed the shopping experience at Walmart was people that want to go in there and steal, and there's no prosecution. California, San Francisco, for example, anything but below $1,000, you can't get prosecuted. So they go in there and take whatever they want to take. It's the dumbest thing in the world, man. Like they have these things, these ordinances, these rules. The way they try to prosecute crime is really soft. I'm talking about beyond soft. You can't even prosecute somebody for stealing. Back in my day, you stole anything from the store, you might get deleted. You might get deleted. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm being dead serious. You might get deleted. But now it's like you can steal whatever you want. Go in there with a black trash bag, take whatever you want. Now, I guess the thought process is if you steal anything below $1,000, you're not doing anything that's really high ticket and you're just poor and it's not even worth trying to prosecute. But see, it's not even about what was stolen. It's about the behavior. When you allow that kind of behavior in society, it's impossible for you to have a business, brick and mortar. It's impossible for you to have a functioning society without a bunch of criminal activity when you embolden and enable the criminal activity. It's not even about the value of what was stolen. It's about the precedent you're setting and the kind of country you're going to be in with that kind of behavior being allowed to persist. Now, Wally World is trying to combat all this stuff with the theft. So they got everything locked up. Hold on. Let's put it on the screen right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously.
This is the type of shit that irritates me. What's the point of coming to the store? Mind you, I'm at Walmart. Everything locked up. Motherfuckers are stealing basketballs and shit.
Sorry for the cussing. Blame the black lady.
Like, y'all gotta lock everything up. Like, every aisle is locked up. Every aisle. What happened to the old Walmart? I missed the old Walmart.
The old Walmart ain't coming back. Everything's going to be locked up. Everything. They're locking up. They're locking up everything. Tennis balls, socks, basketballs. Everything's locked up. I'm talking about things that don't even really matter. Things that don't even really matter. Okay, I saw a picture of a bag of Doritos locked up. A small bag. Not even, I'm talking about, not even a family size bag. I'm talking about a small bag of Doritos. Hold on right quick. A small bag of Doritos got sent to the penitentiary to make big rocks little rocks. It's so bad in some of these places. It's crazy. Now look. All right. When I said a small bag of Doritos, now some are going to say it's fake, but I don't think so. I'm looking at the stuff on the thing right here. Doritos, Cheez-Its, Doritos, stuff that's $1.99, they're putting in these security things so you can't take them. I mean, and you know what's going on with that is that you got these kids that go into these stores like a CVS and they start wilding out the same way Central Park 5 did in the park. Yes, they did do that, but anyway, it's the wilding where you see some of these people that go on camera and they just tear up a gas station. A lot of these young kids, high school, college, whatever. Not college. They ain't going to college. How you gonna go to college? You can't read. But anyway, they go in there and they just take stuff. They take Cheez-Its, they take Doritos and just throw it on the ground. Might eat one chip or just destroy everything. But now the ability to destroy things is kind of dampened because they got the bags of chips and anti-theft devices. Man, look, if I live in a place where they got that going on, I live in the wrong place. Where I live, it's all good. Okay, we don't live in a police state. And it's funny because the very same people that talk about police are bad and ACAB and oink oink and all that kind of stuff, they'll be the very same ones who live in a place like this where they allow crime to run rampant. So the response from the people is to put their stuff behind anti-theft devices. So you're making it more of a police state. Everything's locked up. When you go places, you're behind glass and security. You got to get a clerk to go get a stick of deodorant. It's too much. All right. That's why you got to be tough on crime. Now, Kamala, they said she was tough on crime. But what kind of crime are we talking about? We talking about little ticky-tack stuff, weed, or we talking about some serious issues? Like, what are we talking about as far as being tough on crime? And if Kamala was so tough on crime as a California Attorney General, then why is California the way it is? You know, if she was tough on crime, I can't tell, because the things that are happening right now in California did not happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight. It ain't like, okay, Kamala left. What was that in 2017? Whenever she left as Attorney General, it's not like she left and then all of a sudden crime exploded in California. That's not what happened at all. It was a gradual process that took place partially while she was there. I'm not saying that Kamala turned California into a criminal place, but it continued under her administration. She didn't do anything to really reverse the problem. If anything, she kind of inflamed it. But anyway, let's check this out here. Here are people talking about Kamala's favorite policy. I'm not quite sure where they are. This might be an airport or something by the way things look. Oh, no, it's a DNC. Well, they have DNC signage, but I'm not sure where they are. Check it out.
Can you be up for a quick interview?
Yes. Sure. Yes.
What's your favorite policy of Kamala's?
That's a hard one.
What's your favorite policy of Kamala's?
Her being president.
That's your favorite policy position?
Oh, yeah.
How so?
Because it covers everything that she defends.
Okay, so what's your favorite Kamala policy? Answer, her being president. That's my favorite Kamala policy. Okie dokie.
I'm really excited for her to restore reproductive rights across America.
How do you think she'll go about doing that?
I don't.
There's no, what's she going to do? And what does it even mean? What are you talking about when you say that? You're talking about trying to reverse the Roe v. Wade decision? Like trying to make the Supreme Court do something? That's not what the president can do. So I'm not really sure what she's speaking about.
What a fun question.
I don't know. I'm picking and choosing. I mean, I really like most of them.
So you have to look at it broadly, right? It's about what she stands for right now.
What's your favorite of Kamala's policies?
I'm trying to think. Well, actually, more of like, well, you know what, Waltz comes in.
Oh, Waltz. Kamala should be easy to identify her policy because she's running for president, right? What's it? Tim Waltz is not running for president. It's Kamala Harris.
Of her policies, everything from I'm non-binary, and so
sir, my man, brother to brother, right here, gray hair to gray hair, non-binary at your age, sir. Please stop.
All of the policies for basic human rights to have our own bodies and do with them as we please, you know.
I do not want to see him in the women's bathroom. I wouldn't be in there to see it, but I don't want y'all to see him in the women's bathroom at all.
Willingness to move forward on affordable health care.
How do you think she'll do that as president?
I think she'll work to motivate the legislature to vote in favor of it.
As like her as a person, just like tops out any policy.
So you just like her. So
really admire her.
Great.
I really admire her. That is great policy. I really admire her. She's great. I love her. Ma'am, that's not policy. Okay. I don't care who it is, man. I don't care if it's Trump, Obama, George W., Kamala. I don't care who it is. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? One thing that really kind of made Trump stick out to me was his anti-foreign war policy. And I'm standing on that. And I've been saying that from the beginning. Anti-foreign war. And that's one thing that we had up under him. There was no conflict to speak of. We didn't have this whole Ukraine thing going on. We didn't have the Gaza-Israel thing going on. Taiwan wasn't really a discussion, talking about trying to go over there and do something. But now, all of a sudden, we got all these things happening at the same time. And we're giving the billions upon billions upon billions of U.S. American cold hard cash tax dollars to fund these wars overseas. And then they want to try to divide us on the whole religion thing. Oh, well, we got to protect our strongest ally in Israel. Okay, now, if that's the thought process, then why are we also funding Iran? How are we going to fund all sides of the war and then say we're trying to help one particular side? That doesn't make any sense, now does it? It doesn't make any sense. And if it doesn't make any sense, it's probably a lie. It's probably a lie somewhere. All right? It's just money laundering to me, if you ask me. It's just a way to pay off people to get them to do certain things that we want them to do, to trying to pay Ukraine off so we can use them for whatever we want to use them for, really to try and weaken the Russian Federation through a proxy war. That's what that is. It's strings attached, but I digress. We have more street interviews here.
Would you rather have a democracy or access to abortions?
Either or. I feel like that's a very tough question to answer. I feel like that's almost not possible to answer. I feel like I couldn't pick one or the other.
Even if you had to choose?
I had to choose.
Can we get a final answer? I know it's hard.
I guess access to abortions.
It's Brad Summer.
All righty, so we ain't gonna play the whole thing right here. Let's play a little bit more. Oh, he got Nadler. What's Nadler gonna say?
She's something special. Can we please, this year, it'd be so Brad, have a higher tax rate for rich white men?
Well, if we have a Democratic Congress, we certainly will.
I mean, some of these people shouldn't be in office. Now, I'm not sure how old Nadler is. Let me see how old Nadler is. And I'm not trying to be funny. So he's 77 years old. There's no birthday. It's only a birth year. Oh, it's June 13th, 1947. So 77 years old. All right, Nadler. And people that are up there in age, at a certain point, I think your health should be the primary focus. Nadler does not look well. I'm going to just come out and say it. And it's okay to age. It's okay to have health issues. But you know what you do? If you're aging and you're having health issues, you need to just take care of yourself and stop trying to be a politician. Because obviously, if you are in this state and this condition, mentally, you're not going to be able to make the best decisions, in my humble opinion. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe y'all think differently, but I think that's what that is. You can't really make good decisions when your health is compromised this way. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, baby. Tax those rich old whiteys. Come on. Are you worried Donald Trump's going to weaponize the justice system?
This is Letitia James, who is the phony attorney general from New York, who's trying to get Trump hemmed up on the most ticky-tack of charges to ever be charged in the history of man.
You get some power.
I'm concerned about Project 2025. And it's important that individuals understand that Project 2025 basically consolidates power in the hands of one dangerous man. And so it's really critically important.
Prosecuting his political enemies.
Exactly.
Wow. The irony was completely lost on Letitia James, because in Project 2025, which again is not Trump's plan, it comes from the conservative nonprofit or 501, whatever they are, not Project Veritas, the Heritage Foundation. It comes from the Heritage Foundation, not from Trump's campaign, not from Trump himself, not from Trump's allies. It's from the Heritage Foundation. They are completely independent of Donald Trump and his team, to make that clear. Now, she's speaking about Project 2025 being a bad thing. And part of the reason, I know he's trolling, but part of the reason why she says Project 2025 is bad, because in her opinion, it has language in it that allows Trump to prosecute or target his political opponents. But what has Letitia James been doing all this time with Donald Trump? What has she been doing? On behalf of the federales, might I add, what has she been doing?
Guys, I have to say, you are even more beautiful in person.
Oh, I love him. I love you. Thank you so much.
Oh, man, she thirsty. What in the world was that? Letitia James, you need to go ahead and let that young boy go.
Thank you.
Give me your best pickup line.
That was crazy. man, please. Clearly she's not married, because you let somebody kiss your wife like that, man, you get knocked all the way out. But anyway.
My best pickup line, I'll pay.
Who are the cuties in the Democratic Party that are speaking?
Oh, I don't know. Talk to anyone who lives in D.C. It's hard to find a cute Democrat.
Oh my God, shots fired.
Talk to anyone in D.C. It's hard to find a cute Democrat. That's what she said. That's what she said right here on the camera.
No, that's the tea. Ask anyone who lives in D.C. and who works in Democratic politics. It's hard to find the cute ones.
The Republican guys are hotter.
Yeah, but they're evil. So, I don't know.
So you heard it straight from her. She says the Democrats, these guys, soy boy, man bun, unattractive. They're not trying to do nothing with them. But the conservative guys, we are the hot ones. But we're bad, because they like the masculinity, but it's toxic masculinity, and you can't like that, right? You can't be a heterosexual woman in the Democratic Party, can you? Can you? I don't think so.
We kind of love evil. Oh my God.
I feel like
you are so bad. It's time to call it the red carpet, the blue carpet, because the conservatives have literally no cool famous people. What do you eat after a long day at Congress?
Raphael Warnock.
Did you get your vasectomy yet?
No, I'm not doing
Oh, it's going to be a wild weekend, baby. Tim Walz has the best shot in Congress. Who has the best back shot?
Okay, all right. I'm gonna stop. This guy's a little edgy. Shout out to him though. Good guy. If you guys know what that is, let me know in the comments. I think his name, Josh Walkos. Is that his name? Nah, that's not his name. It's a guy. Hold on.
Would you rather have a democracy?
I'm not sure who this is. No cap on God. I don't know who this is. If y'all know, let me know. But his YouTube channel is No Cap on God. All right. Lionel McGlowan is his name. Yeah, this is him right here. I wanted to give him a little bit of shout out because I like what he did there. That was good information. He did good with that. Trolling and whatever. The Real Big Lie. Lionel McGlowan. You can see him right here on Instagram. Check him out. No ad. I just like what he did. I wanted to give him a shout out. Yeah, definitely trolling. And he did a fantastic job at trolling. Very good. All right, we got another street interview here.
Trump or Kamala?
Hold on 1 second.
Trump or Kamala?
Kamala. I like her, and I'm a Democrat.
And why do you like her?
Because she will be a good female president, and I would love to have a good female president for the U.S.
And what do you think she'll do good for our country?
She'll actually help our country more than Donald Trump would do, because she is smart and she's more reliable.
And what do you think are some exact things she'd do?
She'll do lower income and lower taxes.
So she'd lower everyone's income?
Yes.
Lower the income. Okay. Is that a good thing to do? Big smile. Yes, she's going to lower the income. All righty. Do you guys want Kamala to come in and lower your income?
Is that a good thing?
That is a good thing.
What do you think about Donald Trump?
Donald Trump is the worst president in the whole wide world.
How come?
Because he hurt the Capitol building and he started World War III.
Now, some are saying that she might be a little slow. I don't know about that. I think that might be kind of the average person. If you just talk to the regular normies out here, it's just Trump, minding their business, going to work, just outside. That's how they sound. Yeah, that's how they sound. So, I mean, I don't think she's any less intelligent than anybody else from what I'm able to see right here. Okay, or she could be trolling, but I think that might just be how normies are. Yeah, that's an average person. That's what we call a normie or an NPC. Yes, that's what we're dealing with right here, and that's exactly why the media, the news media, that's why they operate the way they operate. They operate very simplistically. They use terms MAGA Republican and joy and things like this, things that are very easy to digest, easy to understand, not too far beyond the 8th grade reading level. So you're able to, I told you guys, y'all know we're in idiocracy right now. So if people appear to be kind of slow or whatever, no. That's just she's a regular person. That's just what that is. All right. I see that all day, every day. And they'll be working at McDonald's. They'll be working at office job. That's normies. All right. Now let's go to RFK. RFK has dropped out officially and endorsed Trump. All right. Average Democrat. Yeah, Sadie, you're right. Average Democrat. Okay. Hold on. Jennifer says, I agree, ABL. Some people in my workplace sound like this, clueless. Exactly. To us, it's crazy, but to normies, they don't know no better. And that's part of the reason why I don't get mad when sometimes I get called names on the internet. I already know they don't know anything. Like I was saying before, back to that stream I was on with Anton, I'm talking about the primary election to these people. Everybody had a blank stare. What's that? What's a primary election? They're not slow. They're just uninformed. They don't know anything. They go to K through 12. They don't get taught anything about politics. They go to college. If they go to college, they get indoctrinated about politics, and they don't get told what's real. They don't get told the most important thing about what they're learning about. They get told what the college wants them to know, which is why when you talking about those in government, you got a bunch of imbeciles in there because they were brainwashed the exact same way as everybody else in these places of higher education, quote unquote. But let's see RFK come on out and shake Trump's hand. Love that song, by the way. Foo Fighters, There Goes My Hero. Shout out to them. Hopefully they don't give him no cease and desist for playing the song. Somebody say I got to call them abnormies. Yeah, shout out to the abnormies. Now, the abnormies, these are the ones that call themselves non-binary at 75 years old, looking like Chuck Norris. That's an abnormie. All right, so there we go. Good moment. RFK endorsing Trump at a rally in Glendale, Arizona. Went out there and shook his hand.
Three great causes drove me to enter.
Let's start from the beginning. We got a little bit of low sound right here. I think this is him officially saying that he's going to endorse Trump.
Three great causes drove me to enter this race in the first place, primarily. And these are the principal causes that persuaded me to leave the Democratic Party and run as an independent. And now to throw my support to President Trump. The causes were free speech, the war in Ukraine, and the war on our children. We were the party of labor, of the working class. The Democrats were the party of government transparency and the champion of the environment. Our party was the bulwark against big money interests and corporate power. True to its name, it was the party of democracy. As you know, I left that party in October because it had departed so dramatically from the core values that I grew up with. It had become the party of war, censorship, corruption, big pharma, big tech, big ag, and big money. When it abandoned democracy by canceling the primary to conceal the cognitive decline of the sitting president.
Now, so that's RFK talking about a few things, and I tend to agree with him on a lot of that stuff, especially about how big and bloated and corrupt the government has gotten. But a lot of you guys are asking, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with his voice? He has a condition. He explained it, but it was something. I want to, hold on. I know how to say it. Let me see. Hold on. Spasmodic dysphonia. He has a specific form of an involuntary movement disorder called dystonia. Okay, hold on. Let me just read this right quick. I'm gonna just put it on the screen for you guys so we can just read along together. This is from 2008. All right, this is an older article. So let me see. Kennedy has a specific condition called spasmodic dysphonia, a specific form of an involuntary movement disorder called dystonia that affects only the voice box. Request for comment. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a disorder. It's a disorder that makes his voice tremble. It's really trembling. It's making that kind of grovelly, kind of just weird voice because it's spazzing. It's trembling. That's kind of what it is. Yeah, and he had a brain worm, but that's something different. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then of course the brain worm, that was crazy. You guys, I reported that a little while ago, earlier this year. I'm not sure how long ago it was, but he came out. It might have been a while back when he said it, but the news I think resurfaced that a worm got into his brain, ate part of it, and then died. Listen, I'm gonna say that one more time so you can hear me clearly. RFK says that a worm got into his brain and ate a portion of his brain. I'm not sure how much of the brain he ate because I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not really sure how much of your brain can get eaten by a worm and you still be able to have all your motor functions and your skills and your memory and you stay sharp and things like this, right? I'm not really sure. We use 10% of our brain, allegedly. I think we might use a little bit more of our brain than we probably know. And maybe if you got a piece of it missing, it might be a problem. But anyway, he said the worm, after it ate part of his brain, died in his head. So when he did an MRI, it was a dark spot on his brain. That's where the worm was. That's what he said. How's the worm get in your brain? Hey, retro AI, your guess is as good as mine. I don't really know. But it is what it is. Yes, he did say that, Carolyn. Yes, he did. Mm-hmm. Yep. Matter of fact, do I have it? Hold on right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, now, what am I Googling right here? RFK worm brain? That's crazy. All right, let's see if I can find that. RFK worm brain. Okie dokie. New York Times. Let's go right here. Well, not that. It's kind of hard to see. I mean, you guys with the think pieces, good grief. All right, so I'm gonna just show you a headline right quick. RFK Jr. revealed he had a parasitic brain worm. Yeah, and he was diagnosed with mercury poisoning around the same time doctors discovered a parasitic worm in his brain, adding to questions about cognitive fitness that have roiled the 2024 campaign. All right, and then he has the spazzing issue. It's a lot, but yeah, shout out to him. But it could have come from food. I'm not really sure. Maybe that's why he's so gung-ho on keeping your food source and whatnot clean. Yeah, it could have been raw fish. Yep. Eating the bugs. Could have been in the dirt. Amazing Disgrace says, how did we know it's not the worm talking? That's funny. Shout out to you. But I want to play some of this here. You're talking about food, and I kind of want to chime in on this because this is really, really important. This is something I do in my everyday life. I really, really watch what I eat. I'm very serious about my fitness and my health. I don't really play no games. Okay.
Why should people be worried about these kind of products?
Seed oils are one of the most unhealthy ingredients that we have in foods. And seed oils, the reason they're in the foods is because they're heavily subsidized. They're very, very cheap, but they are associated with all kinds of very, very serious illnesses, including body-wide inflammation.
Right.
Which affects all of our health. It's one of the...
Now, you're talking about seed oils. I guess I would include like vegetable oil, basically. Palm oil, stuff like this. Now, I use extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil. Avocado oil because it got a higher smoke point. But I don't use seed oils at all. Canola oil, I just use olive oil, avocado oil. And I use small amounts of it when I'm cooking.
The worst things you can eat, and it's almost impossible to avoid. If you eat any processed food, you're going to be eating seed oil.
Right, and it's interesting the government subsidizes it. Why would the government want to subsidize something that's going to make people sick, and then in the end...
Yeah, I know olive oil is different than seed oils. That's what I was saying. I don't use seed oils. I use things that are not seed oils, like avocado oil and olive oil.
We all end up paying for that in terms of healthcare costs, which are skyrocketing.
Yeah, because that is a direct result of corruption. About 75% of FDA's budget comes from regulated industry, and that means food processors and pharmaceutical industry. All of them profit from a sick population.
You know, a big item that, and by the way, it's getting very expensive, are cereals. Why is the food coloring in particular bad?
Food coloring, you see here yellow food coloring, that is a petroleum product. Mm-hmm. It's associated with really, with...
Well, before he continues, the thing that I try to do is have the fewest ingredients possible in whatever I get if it's a packaged product. And I try not to get many packaged products, like processed food, basically. So what I do, my regular everyday meal, I get chicken and fish and I cook it, and I put a small amount of seasoning, salt, pepper, that kind of thing. Maybe a little bit of something fancy, but not too much salt. I ain't trying to get hypertension and things of this nature. Rice is always good. Boil your rice. One ingredient is just the rice in the package, in the bag. A bag of rice, put some water on it, heat it up, you got rice. Chicken, put it in the oven, you got chicken. Anything else, broccoli or avocados, all you got to do is just cut it up, eat it. You don't got to do anything else to it. But a lot of the processed food that we get, it's all kind of extra preservatives and dyes and salts and sugars and everything else to the point where you're eating the concoction of all kind of random stuff and chemicals. That'll make you unhealthy, even beyond being fat, being fat is not a matter of eating processed food. Being fat is eating too much food, period. And processed food makes you doubly sick because not only are you fat because you ate too much of it, but you're also eating a lot of things that are damaging to the inside of your body. Sugars and salt and things like this and all kind of chemicals, like what he's talking about right here, a petroleum product, that's going to be the issue. That'll make you unwell. But eating too much of the food will make you fat.
With depression, it's associated with autoimmune injuries and ADHD.
Yeah.
And red dye also is very bad in Europe.
Somebody said rice is not good for you. Big one. Really? Are you going to tell Japan that? You're going to tell Japan, Korea, China, all of Asia, all of the whole world that rice ain't good for you? For real? Sir.
The same companies are producing the same products, but they're using natural coloring. But here they can get away with it. We have about almost 1,000 chemicals that are in our food that are either outright banned in Europe or actively discouraged. So you wouldn't be able to buy this kind of stuff in Europe. You ask about why it's so cheap, why it's so ubiquitous. It's because we subsidize the worst foods. We subsidize it with about 70% of our food stamp program is to processed foods, which are all poison.
Right. One of the things that's interesting is you'll see.
All right, there's more, but I ain't gonna play the whole thing here. But yeah, food, that's really important. So if RFK is able to get into the administration and have some kind of role where this is what he covers, you know what? I'm gonna say something right quick, and some may not like what I'm gonna say, but I think certain foods should be banned in the USA because some of these foods that they are giving us are poisoning us. They're killing us. And it's not even necessarily about people that are just gluttonous and eat way too much. That ain't really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about foods that contain actual poison in it that are going to harm you. And that's why when you go travel, you go to Europe, somewhere like this, the food is different because they're not eating the kind of foods that we eat. A lot of the ingredients that they use are not permitted over here, even in the processed foods. Like, let's say a bottle of ketchup, it has fewer ingredients overseas than it does here. The only problem is that it's going to maybe potentially increase the price. That's going to be the issue that we got to deal with. But at a certain point, it's like, how much are we going to pay for medical bills and things like this and all these drugs to counteract what's happening with the poisonous food? People get on metformin and stuff like this to counteract the effects of eating bad foods for a very long time. You got diabetes and you got high blood pressure, all that kind of stuff from these foods. So you got to do something. I wouldn't be against banning some of these ingredients that are known to be dangerous to you. It's the same way when you go to a restaurant and they're unclean and they fail a health inspection and they're going to get shut down. You're banning food from being sold in that particular place. So I think it should be the same thing. We're talking about putting food into a package that can hurt you. The same way you're going to ban a restaurant from serving food when they're unclean and they have a dangerous environment, right? You don't want to mess around and go to the restaurant and die from what you ate because they were unclean. Same way, you don't want to die from going to the grocery store and buying some food that's actually poisonous.
On labels, natural flavors, which is this catch-all phrase that I guess was lobbied for, but the ingredients in natural flavors are not really natural.
No. In our country, natural flavors are chemical products. So you can't trust what's on the ingredient label. And the reason for that, again, is government corruption. It's that the agency, the USDA, the FDA, have been captured by the industries they're supposed to regulate. And they all have an interest in subsidies and then in mass poisoning the American public.
Yeah.
Right on. Absolutely. So, yeah, hopefully RFK is able to get into a role talking about that in administration because that is a really, really important thing we need to discuss. Now, speaking about things that Americans do that others don't, Americans in our immigration policy is crazy. We pretty much allow everybody in, and then when they come in, we give them all types of goodies, all types of benefits.
Taxpayer-funded group is offering $30,000 to new home buyers. Lauren, you cannot apply if you're an American citizen. What's with that?
Why would an American citizen apply for a taxpayer-funded program to get $30,000 for a new home?
let's start from the top because I'm not quite sure you're able to capture all of what he said in a very short period of time. There's a taxpayer-funded group who are offering $13,000 down payment for a house, but you cannot be a United States citizen to get the money. But it's taxpayer-funded, which means citizens pay for a thing that they can't even access.
Taxpayer-funded group is offering $30,000 to new home buyers. Lauren, you cannot apply if you're an American citizen. What's with that?
Why would an American citizen apply for a taxpayer-funded program to get $30,000 for a new home? I mean, it's wild. The group is called Hacienda Community Development Corporation. They offer payment assistance in Oregon to DACA recipients, asylees, green card holders, basically any non-U.S. citizen. This is state-sponsored discrimination, Stuart. That's what it is.
I mean, it's not even discrimination. It's not even discrimination because you're taking money from the citizenry and giving it to somebody else. Like, you're taking money from the citizenry in the United States and giving it to non-citizens for them to invest in this country. You're not even giving it to Ukraine to go and fight that pointless war over there. You're giving it to people who are not citizens to invest in the United States, to live right next door to those who you took the money from. But those you took the money from are not able to, they're not privy to the money. That's crazy. But hey, keep voting Democrat. Keep on for you guys out there that want to vote Democrat. We tried to warn you.
I mean, it's crazy. That's their goal. They want to open up housing and the American dream to non-U.S. citizens.
Okay, I guess that's the reason why that's why we have an open border, because eventually these folks will vote and vote Democrat because they're the people who let them in. That's what this is about.
You already know what it is. You already know what it is because, and this has happened before. Ellis Island, when the people would come in, there'd be people that may hook them up with a job, hook them up with some housing, and then they'll come by and say, hey, we got an election coming up. I need you to vote X, Y, and Z. So let's come on and do that. And tell the kids, let's vote X, Y, and Z. Let's get it happen. Let's make it happen that way. It's the same thing going on now. Okay, look, the people of the United States, the citizenry are rejecting our rule. They're rejecting our rule. That's why they want to go with Trump and other guys. That's why RFK is appealing. That's why Trump is appealing. That's why people like even Andrew Yang, who was a leftist but was still a little bit different, Vivek Ramaswamy, these people are attractive and they're different and they don't just kowtow to what we, the people that control everything, they're not kowtowing to what we want to do. So what are we going to do? What's going to be our next course of action? Well, let's bring in new people, replace the old people, and give them all kind of benefits, give them all kind of goodies. In return, they'll become citizens. They'll become, what do you say, a pathway to citizenship. They'll become citizens, and they're going to vote. That's the plan. It's obvious to see.
Part of me wants to say crazy things happen in Oregon, but I think this will go far beyond Oregon. There is a critical shortage of houses across the United States, particularly in Oregon, and then they're giving $30K to.
So yeah, that's crazy, but that's what's going on right now, 2024. All right, you want to get 30 grand for a house? Be an illegal alien. Be an illegal alien. That's what you got to do. All right. So we got Pocahontas. Elizabeth Warren talking about price controls.
Senator, and that is a time that's sophistry. Your example on craft. Your example on craft is even worse.
You finished first.
So, okay, she's on CNBC. Now, one thing about CNBC, they may be part of NBC, which, all the alphabet letter organizations on television are pretty, quote unquote, woke and left. But CNBC, their focus is on money. These are financial experts. These people that really understand money in a different way than the average person. And quite frankly, they know more than a lot of these politicos, especially Pocahontas right here, because they're having an argument right now about price controls and if they work or not. Let me start from the top.
Senator, and that is a time
that's sophistry. Your example on craft. Your example on craft is even worse.
You finished first. In any of the states around the country that already have price gouging laws in place.
Can I tell you why those are fallacious and misleading at best? And your craft analogy is even. Why can't I tell you? Please let me tell you. Craft, you say, was 440% profit increase. The example you used, the prior quarter from the year before, they had a charge of $1.3 billion, an accounting change which wiped out profits. Then they earned what they normally.
Look at the
let
data.
me finish now. They earned.
You didn't let me finish. Look at the.
Yeah, my man is just like he's having a hard time. I'm trying to talk to you about some real things, about some real financial info. Oh, you didn't let me finish. She's not even listening. And the young lady back here, all on the camera, showing their teeth in the mouth. Yes, Auntie, you're on camera. Wave a smile for the camera.
Data. Come on. We have economic study now after economic study.
This is the way it always goes.
When there is more concentration.
40 million eggs were destroyed because of avian flu.
When there is more concentration in an industry, we have seen much greater increases in
do you attribute
the
inflation?
Markets.
That's what you think we need to do to solve it?
They are not random one-offs. It is part of the problem when you've got companies that are gouging consumers on prices. Consumers.
What does that mean, though? These are vague terms. Gouging. What does gouging mean? I know what gouging means, but what does it actually mean? Because when you are accusing a company of doing something like that, you need to have a clear accusation. What does gouging mean? How much should I charge? Because the only way you're going to really be able to determine gouging, aside from just how you feel, is to set a floor and a ceiling. To price control, these things don't work. Price controls always lead to shortages. This is why you have, people in Venezuela trying to eat pet dogs and things like this. It's the same story whenever it's tried. It never works. It's always a problem. And then you got to try to fix it some kind of way. You're going to create refugees. You're going to create civil unrest. These things never work. And I don't understand why these people try to get on television and say that these obviously ineffective policies actually work. I don't understand.
Need to know they've got somebody on their side.
Senator,
and
listen, we're trying to help. We're trying to actually do.
Where are you in the 37 states that currently have price gouging laws?
Just quickly on that point, Senator Warren, can you, this is Kelly here, can I just clarify how this would work?
This is the way you never lose an argument, because no one can ever say anything back to you, Senator.
Yeah, it's a mess, and she's smiling. She knows what's going on. I mean, it's a mess, man. I think people, you need to have some real people in there to understand what's going on, man. These people in the federal government are terrible. They're terrible, man. Anybody can go to the federal government right now and do better than them, in my opinion. Listen, if any of us in the chat were just to replace Pocahontas, we'd do light years better than she ever done. Light years better than she ever did. All right, so shout out to her. We have more here.
When you hear
a bunch of jobs from the new jobs report have been purged. I think 1 million jobs have been purged or corrected from the new jobs data. So they say the Biden administration created X amount of jobs. Then they keep revising it, changing it, updating it to the point where 1 million jobs have been wiped away that they previously said were added under the Biden administration. How is a mistake that big made? How do you overestimate by 1 million jobs? Let's watch some videos here, shall we?
When you hear that, do you potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No, when I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar with that.
When you hear that, do you...
So they're just trying to act like it didn't happen, like it's not really going on. Okay, the context is she was asking the lady about what I just said about the jobs report.
Potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No, when I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is
na boo boo, na boo boo. Trump's a liar. He's a lie. Orange man bad. I don't believe it. Blah 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 blah. It's y'all that's saying it. Y'all coming up with the revised numbers. I mean, that's how. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That right there. You saw that. The lady that we saw earlier, who might have been kind of slow or whatever. Nah. It's not that she was slow. It's just that that's normies. And people like this, they speak normie. All right? We speak English. They speak normie. Orange man bad. Joy. Trump's a liar. Project 2025. They speak in 5 catchphrases. And then when something else happens that becomes very popular, they speak that way. That's what they do. Yeah, I'm Gretchen Whitmer. But you call me Big Gretch. Dumb stuff. But anyway, I digress. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. All right. So this is what we're talking about as far as, I think it's going to say 800,000, but I think it might have been 1 million jobs revised away. Oops. We said we had too many jobs. We overestimated by a little bit, so we're going to wipe them away. So they never really happened. And then a lot of the jobs that were brought on, how many of these are being taken up by regular American citizens? Okay, we know there's discrimination going on. We just saw the whole thing about them trying to give illegal aliens $30,000 for a down payment on their house from taxpayer money that we don't get. But here's the whole thing about the jobs being revised away. Check it out.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics just blithely admitted nearly 1 million jobs are fake.
And shout out to Professor Prof Stange on Twitter, PROFSTONGE. You see it right there in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. I want to give him his credit.
Many of us have been warning that the jobs numbers were suspect because ever since Biden took over, the official numbers have not matched the so-called household survey that actually asks people if they have a job. Now, with the prospect of new management in sight, the BLS is starting to confess in the largest revision since the 2008 financial crisis. In fact, the second largest jobs revision in history. So going to the numbers, the BLS just admitted 818,000 jobs are fake. They are made up. Hardest hit were manufacturing, retail, leisure, think fast food and hotels, and professional services, think bookkeepers, janitors, and office workers. So 115,000 manufacturing jobs were fake, 129,000 retail, 150,000 leisure and hospitality, and 358,000 professional jobs. Hilariously, there was one big job category that had no revisions: government jobs. Our army of 23 million government workers are safe. They lost not one man. Every one of those 818,000 lost jobs were in the productive parts of our economy. In fact, toss in education and health, what the Wall Street Journal calls the welfare industrial complex, and government was actually revised up by 88,000 jobs. So minus 900 for the ones who produce, plus 88 for the ones who destroy. Note, this still doesn't address the issue of not counting people who have given up because they can't find work.
Because that right there, that's the workforce participation rate. Now, how has that been impacted?
For example, homeless people are not counted as unemployed. They are effectively counted as retired. That's probably another 5 million or so going by the so-called U6 unemployment rate, but nobody knows because government obviously is not interested in dwelling upon its failures. So how could this happen? What kind of world do we live in where government can't be trusted to grade its own performance? In short, because government workers are just as self-interested as the rest of humanity, like used car salesmen, alas, you do not turn into an angel when you start taking a paycheck stolen from the people. Self-interest means doing what's good.
All right, there's more, but I ain't gonna play my man's whole video. But yeah, a lot of fake jobs out there in the economy. A lot of fake jobs. So that's going to be a thing that should hurt the campaign for Kamala. All right, like I think people don't even need the jobs number to know that things are tough. I don't think we need that. I think it's pretty obvious that we're having a hard time right now.
We've watched the Biden administration and now really effectively the Harris administration argue that they've been creating jobs hand over fist, just to realize that every single month they keep revising down the last month's job total. And now what we're learning is 800,000 of those jobs were manufactured jobs that have been revised down in a stunning report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And that 800,000 is just what they're admitting to. Their misunderstanding of how many real businesses were created might be closer to 5 million. So that tracks more of what people are feeling back home, which is the government printed trillions of dollars and caused inflation that has made prices jump over 20%, much more for things like gas and food that people use every day. And they're saying that the economy is good on the backs of perhaps not 800,000, but perhaps millions of jobs that never existed anywhere other than on paper, and to steal that new printed money away from taxpayers.
So, I mean, that tells you right there, a lot of these numbers are fake. Fake job numbers, fake everything. There's a lot of fake stuff happening in this country. And they try to pass it off like it's no, we know that it's fake. We already know kind of what's going on. Now, here's Gavin Newsom talking about the homelessness in California briefly.
How did California get so much homelessness?
I mean, because of our own policies and neglect. We put up our feet and we rested on our laurels.
So, Gavin, how long have you been in California in politics? How long has your aunt, Nancy Pelosi, been in politics in California? So that's part of y'all, right? That's you got to blame yourself. It's not just, okay, when you say we, you really mean yourself as well. Not just we in the generic sense, but you got to actually hold yourself, you got to hold Gavin accountable. You got to hold yourself responsible. Same thing with Nancy and everybody else you know. Maxine Waters, all your friends in California, all your colleagues. So when you say we, it ain't just California. It's you and your colleagues. So what are y'all going to do to fix it? When I see you on TV, you talking about cleaning up homeless encampments and you out there doing photo ops. Listen, you have a photographer, Gavin Newsom, that cost the taxpayers over $200,000 just for you to take pictures of you, to travel, do whatever. Probably not even for the whole year. Might be for like a couple months. $200,000. You guys are bad. So just leave it there. And I don't see what you're going to do here to improve. I don't really see that happening too much at all. All right. But yeah, shout out to him for at least being a little bit honest, but not giving us the full story still. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. We got some Kamala clips I want to get into. We got some clips from the actual, from the actual DNC. We got some of those coming up. Now, but first, speaking about DNC clips, Van Jones ran into Vivek Ramaswamy or vice versa. They ran into each other. Now, Vivek kind of confronts Van Jones because Van said some crazy things about Vivek, maybe even his wife, but I think definitely Vivek on air. So Vivek was like, hey, man, here's my grievance, and let's go ahead and play it so you can see what happened.
So we got death threats. We got death threats after the thing you said. So that's Van Jones for you.
So on air, I actually don't swear. I did it very intentionally that one time. And I want you to just know about it because I think it's important. So you were on air and you said that he's a demagogue, he's dangerous, he's going to be around for 50 years long after Donald Trump's gone. So the first time in the campaign, we get a death threat of a man who wants to show up in New Hampshire. Thankfully, the police intervened, got it. The next day, back-to-back days, my wife's scared enough. The next day, we wake up. It's 3 a.m. We get a call from him. He's my security guard saying, thank God you picked up because we just got a call that somebody showed up at your house and has 4 dead bodies out. So that's within 48 hours. And I'm not going to attribute that to your comment because whatever it is. But for our family, you know what? Publicly I didn't do it, but for our family, yeah, it pissed us the heck off, actually. And so the reality is, I don't try to engage in rhetoric that gets other people in danger of bodily harm. But I do think that if somebody's going to, even if you didn't intend to provoke that kind of ire on my family, yeah, in that week it landed with me. Now, at the same time, am I going to...
Test.
Do I want to set a good example for people in this country of what discourse looks like? I do. And in the heat of a presidential campaign, and I've been open about it since I left the campaign as well. My competitive spirits, sometimes stop us from being able to have the level of discourse we want. And I think you were wrongfully pushed out of the White House for your comments around 9/11, way back when as well. They were misconstrued, exactly. So what I will tell you is this. Yep. So I just wanted you to know that backdrop. That's my personal song. Don't give it to anybody else.
I will call you in a couple of days and I'll apologize to your wife.
Okay, well, we don't need to do any of this on air.
But I will call your wife and apologize.
And you know what we can do is you can turn the page and maybe have a chapter to demonstrate what actual good discourse looks like in this country. And that's not just on you, that's on me as well. Okay, that's on two of us.
I'm really sorry.
Hey, it's classy of you to say so, and I hope we can build a friendship. I really mean that. Please do. Okay? Thank you. Take care.
So there you have it. You have Vivek confronting Van Jones, CNN contributor, professional black male crier on television, who got a big $100 million bag from Jeff Bezos to do what? I'm not really sure. Talking about, got to go to charity. I don't know what he's going to do with it, but that's Van Jones. He was saying some things about Vivek on air, calling them all types of crazy, demigod artists. So he confronts Van about that and said, hey, we had death threats and they threatening my wife, all this, that, and the third. So Van says, you know what? I'm going to apologize. I'm going to call you. I'll apologize to you. I'm going to call you and apologize to your wife. Now, you think it's a genuine apology? Do you accept it? Like, what did we do? So that was a pretty interesting moment from the RNC where Vivek Ramaswamy confronts Van Jones for what he said on there. But it was a respectful, that was kind of a weird thing, Hugo. It was like, why you leaning into me? Give me about 5 feet back. But anyway, he respectfully confronted him. He didn't yell or act crazy. It was very respectful. That's all. Okay. So yeah, shout out to him. All right. Hold on. Let me see. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That helped me out tremendously. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here.
I don't know who said it first, but it was used in the.
Is it Russell Crowe from 300? Is that him?
I don't know who said it first, but it was used in the Andrew Lloyd Webber, Tim Rice musical Evita. Politics is the art of the possible. So it's not. It's not really connected to anything. It's like, what can we get away with?
Right. What can we tell you that we're going to do and then never do it?
Right. It's the art of the possible.
Well, you're seeing that now in American politics more than ever because the person that's actually in office is saying what she's going to
Gladiator. Thank you.
Do if she gets
not 300. Gladiator.
Office.
Right.
Which is just like.
You're there.
You're there. This is madness. Like this is, and people are like, yeah, she's gonna do it. Like she's been in there for 3 fucking years. Like, what are you talking about? This is crazy. But people want to believe so badly. We want someone to be the person that rescues us from whatever situation we're currently in, and that's always been the case.
So shout out to him, Russell Crowe, going on Joe Rogan Experience. Okay, that's a great mix-up, great mashup. But yeah, the whole thing about Kamala, you already been in there for a long time. 3.5 years, you're just going to magically become some type of super president. That's why it's so weird, making these promises, making these campaign promises, talking about, oh, well, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and the third. Well, you could have done that already. You're 10 steps from the Oval Office. Go down there and talk to the man. Go down there and talk to the man and see what you can get done. And speaking about that, we have Jermaine Dupri. All right, we got Jermaine Dupri here. Hold on one second. And he was asking about Kamala and the same thing. Now, hold on. Let me see if I can find the clip that I had earlier because Jermaine Dupri, if you guys don't know, and it was funny because when I was talking about it on my video earlier, I know a lot of y'all don't have no idea who Jermaine Dupri is, but he's a music mogul. I wanted to call him the Atlanta version of Puff Daddy, but I got to put some respect on JD's name. I never heard about JD getting caught up in no weird stuff, no Diddy parties, no freak stuff. He never beat nobody in the head like he beat Cassie. So JD's been kind of a Boy Scout. He at one point dated Janet Jackson for like 8 years. He is behind a lot of big music stars, their career. Back in the 90s and 2000s, he had Bow Wow, Criss Cross, Escape, Da Brat was So Def, like 1994. He was very, very popular. He's been all over the place. Big time music mogul. Now, he was asking the question, hey, if Kamala has been here all this time and she's making promises, why can't the promises happen right now? You're in the White House. You're in office. Of course, you're not the president, but you're right there. You can do something. Now, let me show you what's going on here first. Let me keep on rocking and rolling. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Jagged Edge, that's right, Kevin. He's behind Jagged Edge. A lot of the Atlanta groups, a lot of the Southern groups, Anthony Hamilton as well. A lot of people. But let me show what's going on here. This is back in April where they met in Atlanta. All right. So you can see them talking. I'm going to turn the sound down for this one. But that's them right there. They've already met. They've already spoke. And I think he said he might have been spoken to her in this conversation or separately. And the question was asked, hey, you're making these promises, but what are you really going to do about it? How are you going to make that happen as a president if you can't do anything as a vice president? And if you guys who are in the administration right now aren't doing this, then aren't you critical of your own administration if they can't do what you're promising? You see what I'm saying? Like, if it's her going up against Trump, she can say, Trump's not doing this, Trump's not doing that. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, wouldn't it be the same thing against the Biden administration that you're part of? If they're doing things that haven't been done and you're promising it, wouldn't it be the same thing? Maybe I'm just thinking a little bit too deeply, but let's get to my man JD and the question that he asked, which is a good question, about why Kamala has not fulfilled her campaign promises while in office right now.
Yo, out here getting these 5 miles in, as you see me do every day. Real quick, I want to talk about the DNC. I feel like the DNC has been going amazing, but I also feel like tonight, Kamala Harris has a pretty difficult job, right? And it's interesting because the Republican correspondent that's been doing the roundup after the DNC has ended, he asked the question that I kind of asked Kamala when we had our second meeting,
Now, I wonder who he was watching. He says a Republican, what he said, the commentator or whatever who's been doing the roundup after the DNC. Now, has he been watching ABL? Was it me he was watching? Who was he watching? I know it was one of us. It might have been B. Tatum. It could have been BCP. It could have been even, he might go another way and watch a Tim Pool or somebody like this. I wonder who he was watching to get the information. And whoever it is, I'm glad that they did it, and I'm glad that he was able to receive it, because that's part of the whole point. That's part of the whole point why I do these things, is because I want people who are on the other side to listen. I was saying that during the live streams. And shout out to you guys who were there during the live streams for the DNC. I was saying it. It's like, look, there's only one narrative usually when it comes to these things. So let's put out a different narrative. If you are watching the DNC, I want you to watch it with me so I can interject at certain points and give my 2 cents. And then if you are a leftist and you're just curious and you want to see a different perspective, all you got to do is do some research, do your Googles, as the cool kids say, and you'll find out what I'm saying is correct. Then that could change your mind versus just being brainwashed by the television telling you whatever they want you to know. You see, with no kind of backlash or kickback.
If, the fact that she's in office right now, she's in the White House right now. And the guy, he said, what makes y'all believe that she's going to get this stuff done if she becomes president and she's already in the House? And it's a tricky question, because I asked Kamala basically the same thing, right? In so many words. And I asked her, like, as the vice president, why they don't let her talk when, Biden seems like he needed someone to speak up for him. I thought that's what the role of the vice president was.
Well, not quite, but they should have had her speak more, now that I think about it, because, Biden would go out there and just lay a whole goose egg, stumbling and bumbling, literally falling on the ground, feet up in the air, looking crazy. So they could have reduced his workload maybe by letting Kamala do more, but that'd make him look weak. So that'd be, if they let Kamala speak more and they kept Biden in the basement, that'd make him look just as bad as him dropping out right now. So they ain't want to have the facade get lifted too early. Although it wasn't really a facade to begin with, because this guy looked like he was, one fall, one slip away from being in the upper room. So the facade had pretty much already gone. But some of these leftists who don't really look at this guy and see that he's declining, they were kind of believing that he was still okay. But let's continue.
To help the president. And basically, she kind of let me know that her hands was tied. That they didn't really allow her to be a voice like that in that space. And tonight, I don't know if she's gonna, I want to see how if she even touches on this, because if she doesn't touch on it, that's the question that I feel like the people that have mixed decisions about voting for her, this is one of the questions. This is the top question that they had. And like I said, this is what the Republicans are saying. And they never heard the part about her hands being tied. And if she says something about her hands being tied, then it makes it look like the White House or the Democratic Party didn't really want her to exceed.
I mean, at the end of the day, Kamala is incompetent. Biden is incompetent. They have her in there because she's black, or not black. They say she's black. Put it to you that way. She's not. But what she is, in my opinion, is multicultural. Okay, multicultural. They have her in there for that reason. So she can go be whatever she needs to be at a particular time. Okay, you got a black event, some kind of party or something like that. She can go out there and be black for that. And if it's something like Southeast Asians, you could go out there and be Asian for that. That's kind of how it goes. So yeah, shout out to you, JD. It was a good question. Jermaine Dupri, great question. Why can't you fulfill your campaign promises now since you're actually in office? No, you're not the president, but you have some pull. You have voting power. You could do a lot as a vice president. And the main thing would be having the president's ear. You're right there in the White House with him. And if the things you're promising aren't being done right now, then that's a critique on your own administration. It says, and it's funny because, the funny thing is that people will say, when we say nobody voted for her in the primary, they voted for Joe Biden, they're going to say, oh, well, Kamala was on the ticket, you voted for her too, which that's not what it is. Just because it says Biden Harris does not mean I voted for Kamala Harris. Nobody had any say-so on who Biden appointed as vice president. Same kind of way with Trump. Nobody had any say-so in that. You voted for Trump in the primary because of Trump. He didn't even announce J.D. Vance until after, well, actually during the Republican National Convention after the primaries had already been done. So, no, you don't vote for the vice president. But if you think that we did vote for the vice president to become the presidential nominee, if you think we did that, then it's her responsibility to make sure that the campaign promises she's making right now are already happening under her current administration. Because she has a responsibility. But whatever. But I'm glad that you got guys that don't normally look at conservative stuff, looking at what we're doing, and just getting a little bit more information, more education. That's what I always say. I tell everybody, don't listen to what I say. Just do your own research and figure out what's going on from there. Now, you know who else should do a tad bit of research? Kamala Harris. Here, she's trying to explain what collective bargaining is, okay? Now, collective bargaining, and if I'm as wrong as Kamala, y'all correct me, but collective bargaining refers to unions, especially where employees will negotiate terms of employment and contracts. That's what a CBA, that's what that is. If I have that wrong, y'all correct me in the comments. But if I'm wrong, I don't think I'm as wrong as Kamala. Check it out.
You literally cannot make this up.
Collective bargaining is about saying, let the collective come together around a common experience, which at its core is about dignity and the dignity of labor. That's right. And then
Tim Waltz in the back is crazy, like a SLEO. Oh, that's right. Sir, hold on. Let me go back.
Core is about dignity.
I got to start from the top because edit the core of dignity. What are we talking about? Are we trying to edit a program? Are we trying to edit a Photoshop file? Like, what are we editing here, ma'am? Let me start from the top.
You literally cannot make this up.
Collective bargaining is about saying, let the collective come together around a common experience, which at its core is about dignity and the dignity of labor.
That's right. Oh, at its core, okay.
And then let the people come together to negotiate so you make the balance. And then the outcome will be fair.
What?
Well, she did get the negotiate part right. Okay, she got the negotiate part right, so maybe she's about halfway right. All righty. Dignity, all of that ain't really nothing like that. It's like, hey, we're the employees, you're the employer. Let's negotiate on the contract. That's it. let's negotiate on the contract, terms of employment. That's all we're gonna do. That's the CBA for you right there. Okay, so there you have Kamala trying to explain it. Kami talk, you think so, Shinobi? I think so too. All right, now I have a question, and don't call me a racist, please. I beg. Don't call me a racist, but they showed Kamala's family at the end of the DNC, and they say she's black, right? They say she's at best black and Indian. That's what they say. But when I see the family on stage, I'm looking at straight Indian subcontinent. Like, what's going on with this? Hold on, I got the sound off because music. Okay, I'm seeing a bunch of guys. All right, that I don't see African Americans. I'm seeing Doug Emhoff and his people. I'm seeing some Indian nieces and nephews. I don't really see too many black folks on stage, and that's balloons and stuff in the background. Yeah, like I don't understand what's going on. There's her Indian uncle right there with the white beard and the hair. That's her niece, nephew, all of these people. Where's the black folks at? Now remember, her father, the so-called black man, I believe his name is Donald Harris, a professor from Jamaica. He's still living. Her mother has passed away, RIP to her. But her father is still living. Where's her father at? Listen. Let's listen to me very well. What could be more important than seeing your daughter get a Democratic National Convention, what am I saying? What could be more important than your daughter getting nominated to be the presidential candidate on the Democratic side at a Democratic National Convention? What could be more important than that? You got a prior engagement. You got to go wash your car. You got to walk the dog. What are we doing, sir? Listen, regardless of her political affiliation, if it was my daughter and she was in this position, I'm going. I could be a hardcore, stone cold, stomp down conservative. My daughter could be Kamala Harris, which if that happened and she went to be like, if I had a daughter and then she grew up to be a raging, stone cold feminist, I'd be upset. And I would hope that she would come around at a certain point, but that's a different story. I'm still going to be there. Where was her father at? What's going on? Was she black, right? Oh, okay, whatever. And again, I'm not trying to be a racist person, but they're running on that. That's their whole campaign. Oh, she's a strong black woman. All right, really? Are you? If you are, I can't tell. I don't see where the black woman stuff comes from at all. And I probably did not play this during I couldn't have played it during the last live stream, I don't think. Maybe I did. Wendell Pierce, I probably played it in the follow-up video. Wendell Pierce, you may know him from The Wire. He played the bunk on The Wire, one of the cops. He is a pretty well-known actor. I don't know what else he played in. Oh, you remember some of you guys in the Community, Waiting to Exhale? He was in that. He was the fat boyfriend in Waiting to Exhale. But anyway, he's talking about why are we trying to get in the way of a black woman succeeding, of a black woman rising? Check it out.
As a black man, why should we fear the rise of a black woman? Any black man that has an issue with a black woman rising, then they have to look at their own inadequacy. What would make you so fearful of someone who was so beloved of you, who was so beloving to you, like your mother and your grandmother and your aunts and your sisters, that you cannot be proud and embolden yourself when you see someone from your community rise up? And I say to those black men who have an issue politically, you have every right to say, what have you done for me? And I'll give you the laundry list. The community banking system and legislation from the 90s, the $2 billion that the Biden-Harris administration just gave to black farmers. The empowerment zones that Mr. Trump talks about all the time came from Barack Obama. And what he did and all of his buddies, they just got them and just used them as tax write-offs instead of actually doing something in the community. So when you go to those black neighborhoods and you see those boarded up windows, that's just a tax shell for some billionaire while they don't bring any businesses to the community. But it's because of the empowerment zones that the Democrats have created for black entrepreneurs, for the...
You kind of rambling here, Wendell. I'm going to just kind of stop because the point that I wanted to address has already been made. So why would anybody get in the way of a black woman? Now, here's a question I had for you, sir, and I've asked it before. I'm going to ask it again. What if it was Candace Owens in the same situation, running for president on the Democrat, Republican, whatever? What if it was Candace Owens? The same way Candace is right now, her same views, her same talking points. Would you be up here on Al Gore's interwebs trying to defend her, talking about why you guys trying to attack a black woman? I don't think you would. I don't think you would give all this grace to Candace Owens. So all this blackity black stuff is bogus because you don't really believe that. If you did truly believe it, then a lot of the things you guys say about Candace, you wouldn't be saying. You wouldn't be saying. You would be saying the same thing you're saying right now. Oh, protect and defend black women. That's what you would say. But, you know, these people are phony. They know that the color thing only goes so far. Yeah, protect black women except for when they Candace Owens. And black men at this point, man, we getting treated. If you are a conservative black man, you're getting like, being a conservative black man is like being a white man in the United States as far as how you get treated by the general public. White man, racist automatically. Black man, you want to be conservative, you Uncle Tom automatically. That's kind of what's going on here. All right. So shout out to him for that statement, which he wouldn't say if it was about a conservative woman who happened to be the same skin color as him. All right. Chris Cuomo, I think he gave they're saying this is a good talk from Chris Cuomo covering the actual DNC. Oh, can I say something right quick? Now, speaking about black women, Beyonce was rumored to be at the DNC as a surprise guest to wrap it on up. That was the rumor. And you had The Hill reporting this, TMZ reporting this. There were multiple respected media outlets that reported this. Now, TMZ, sometimes they get things wrong, but normally they're right. And The Hill is a Washington, D.C. type rag. They're not going to, I've never seen The Hill report something fake. So the thought process from people that were there, maybe, and from those watching at home, because I was seeing people on my feeds talking about, oh, where's Beyonce? I was waiting on Beyonce. The rumor, quote unquote, was out there the entire event until the very end. And Beyonce's team put out a message talking about, oh, we're not going to go there. We were never on the schedule. Why would you let the rumor persist? Why would you let that persist for so long if you weren't going to be there? And then throughout the event, they were playing Beyonce music on the house speakers without her actually being in the building. Throughout the whole thing, they played so much Beyonce music that they blocked my stream because it had the Beyonce music in it. They didn't give me a strike. They just blocked my stream. So I think the reason why they let that rumor slide is to keep everybody attended. It's the same way that they did with Meg Thee Stallion. Now, in this case, it's to keep the audience at home watching. Because if they hear Beyonce's going to be on TV, it's a free Beyonce show on television, cool, let's watch it. The same kind of way people went to the rally in Atlanta physically in person to watch Meg Thee Stallion for free. It's the same thing. She can't pull any kind of audience, any kind of ratings, any kind of viewership without a special guest that's a big music star or even the rumor of a special guest that's a music star. That's how they've been carrying the whole thing, which kind of points back to the whole Barack Obama comment about, you know, crowd sizes, all this kind of stuff. The wee joke he made, which is really kind of LGBT. But anyway, like me personally, I like joking and whatnot, but I don't think another man's situation is what I need to be focused on. All right. I can joke about other things aside from your package downstairs. But anyway, it goes back to that because they're trying to downplay the whole crowd size thing because they know they got an issue with crowd size, which means there's lack of interest. There's not much attention. So they got to resort to little tricks to make the interest appear to be greater than what it is, right? Like having a rumor out there for the entire day that Beyonce is coming, only to squash the rumor at the 0 hour when you already got Kamala on stage speaking. That's kind of what happened. But let me hear from Chris Cuomo right quick.
A big theme here at the DNC is that they're going to go after corporate gouging.
Hold on. Somebody says B and switch as in B-E-Y, Beyonce. That was very, very clever. Shout out to you. Let me start from the top here.
A big theme here at the DNC is that they're going to go after corporate gouging. And they're going to go after corporations, whether it's in taxes, largesse, loopholes. The RNC, we heard the same thing. They're going after the elites, the two sets of rules. Let me reveal a reality to you that has to be spoken to here, okay? These are the soldiers. These are the men and the women that go back to their constituencies and their communities, and they fight. They take time from their jobs. They take time from their families. Republicans and Democrats alike, that's what they do. They need to charge these people up. They need to be able to get them on board. But there's another reality that is literally looking down on them. Greg, look at the ring of sweets, okay? This is not unique to Democrats. There is a game of money. When people talk about uniparty, we are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. You think there's like a teacher group up in there? You think it's like the Cub Scouts of Columbia County, South Carolina, that's up in those boxes? Some of them are lobbies and good things. The media boxes, you think they're free? Why do you think I'm on the floor? News Nation is not a broke company. Nexstar is a massive organization. We are corporate media. We don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They are literally looking down on the faithful and being told, yeah, we're going to break down on them. We're going to make them pay their share. They paid $500, $700, $1 million, $1.5 million to have those seats. They get hotel suites that are probably gifted to the party. And the same thing is true with the Republican side. And they're going to take them down. They're going to change how it is. They are looking down from on high at the people who make the difference in their communities. And that is the reality of politics. And I had my producer walk around and show you those suites. Now, they're not all the same. They're not all the same. But the reality is, in 2000, they spent $300 million on presidential campaigns. 24 years later, you know what they're expected to spend? $10 billion. Do you know how much money Harris has raised in the last couple of weeks? Hundreds of millions. And that's success. A lot of it's small donor, a lot of it isn't. The most dangerous money in politics is now legal money because of Citizens United. You've got to know this. The idea that they can fight against it is almost laughable. It's almost laughable. So look and listen when you are told these things. Because I don't care what they promise you. Not here tonight, not at the RNC, not that Trump knows them, not that they don't own them. He did one of the biggest fundraisers I've ever heard of in my life out where I live. Millions of dollars a plate. That's the reality of politics.
All right, so how you guys feel about that? Do you think that do you think that Chris Cuomo has a point about the whole money and politics thing? Now, I want to say that I kind of agree. I agree, but I also, there's more to it than that. I think that the money can't move an election. The money can't move an election. Well, there's two things going on. First, the election itself. The money can't move an election if the people aren't primed to be influenced and controlled by the money. You see what I'm saying? That goes back to the whole education piece. When people have no idea what's going on, you got mouth-breathing normies. They don't know anything about politics at all. They don't know what a primary election is. They don't know who their reps are, who the governor is. They don't know anything. They are easily controlled by the money, in my humble opinion. Now, as far as the parties themselves, that's a problem right there, where there's so much money being put into politics, especially on the federal level, that leads to the corruption that we see. Okay, that leads to things being done that are not in the best interest of the constituents that people serve. It's more about just helping the donor, trying to get more money, trying to get more control. Okay, and the RNC is guilty of this as well. The RNC, especially under Ronald McDaniel, they don't do anything. listen, some of these, so for the RNC, they have certain groups they reach out to do certain things, to voter outreach or whatever, doing events, but these groups don't do anything. A lot of the independent groups, a Turning Point USA does more than some of the groups that the RNC are behind. I won't mention any names of groups that they're behind, but they don't do a thing. They don't do a thing. A Turning Point, Charlie Kirk, all these guys do more than the RNC. Now, is there a bunch of donor money in Turning Point? Of course. Yes, there is. But the difference is that these old groups have been around for a long time. These political parties, it's a whole different ball of wax. There's no accountability. They can just do whatever they want with these big old political parties, in my humble opinion. The best way to reach the people, the best way to have your dollar spent is to give it to some of these smaller groups rather than giving it to the RNC or DNC or anything like that. Federal government, you got to assume it's corrupt top to bottom. You have to assume that for yourself. All right. Here's a funny one. Dana Bash explains that Democrat men are low T and don't identify as real men. That's the caption that Wall Street Silver wrote. Shout out to him. But let me see what Dana Bash says.
But they are.
And if you guys don't know, Dana Bash is a CNN host, anchor, contributor.
Doing so in trying to put forward male figures, Tim Walz being one of them, Doug Emhoff last night, who can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy who...
Oh, see, isn't she saying the same thing the young lady said earlier for you guys who were here earlier in the stream, where the young lady was like, oh, it's hard to find a cute conservative guy because, she said it's hard to find a cute liberal, a cute Democrat guy. She said it's hard to find a cute Democrat guy, and the really hot, attractive guys are going to be conservative, but they're quote unquote evil. She's saying the exact same thing right here. Am I wrong? Let me just start from the top, shall we?
But they are doing so in trying to put forward male figures, Tim Walz being one of them, Doug Emhoff last night, who can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy who wants to listen to Hulk Hogan and the kind of players that came out at the RNC, or might want to listen to that, but also, in addition, understand that it's okay in 2024 to be a man comfortable in his own skin who supports a woman. And that's something that they really are trying to work on with male voters beyond the base.
You walking on eggshells with that one. You might as well call them soft and weak. You might as well say that. You walking on eggshells with that one. Listen, you don't want to hear Hollywood Hogan? You don't want to hear that? I know I do. So basically, the guys that are kind of weak and soft, just go ahead and say it. Soft, weak guys, those are who should be reaching out to the Democratic Party. So you're saying, and maybe, hey, guys, if I'm hearing something wrong, you let me know. So the actual men, the biological masculine men, guys that like to just, be male, those guys should go to the Republican Party. But if you're effeminate, if you're soft, if if your wife has a boyfriend and you cool with it, then go to the Democratic Party. Go to the Democratic Party. Hold on. Now, I'm almost done with these. I got to play one more clip because this encapsulates everything perfectly. Oh, I got to find that clip. That is perfect. All right. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. This is my man, Alex Stringer. He's a comedian. This is him trolling. Now, I know I played this before. I probably played it during my recap and maybe the Wednesday stream. Probably the Wednesday stream, yeah. But I got to play one more time because this fits perfect. Now, he successfully trolled the BBC. The newspaper, not nothing else. Okay, the British Broadcasting Company. Put it to you that way. All right, let's check this out.
What brought you out here today? No, listen, my name is Noah Shorts. I use he, they pronouns. I'm just really excited that we have the first black woman that could be the president of the United States. And, you know, like, my wife, right, we're in a polyamorous relationship. The lover that my wife took is African-American. And, like, I've learned so much about the struggle that people of color go through as a result of my wife's boyfriend. And so I'm excited to really do my part to show solidarity for my marginalized communities. And, like, the best way to do that is to get the first woman of color to be the commander-in-chief. And I'm really excited. I'm so pumped.
Were you this pumped and excited?
Yo, this dude staying in character, keeping the straight face is golden. It's golden. Again, he is trolling the BBC, the British Broadcasting Company. He is trolling them, but they think he's being serious.
When Joe Biden was the nominee?
I mean, listen, like, I would vote for a corpse over voting for Donald Trump because he's a disgusting fascist, white supremacist pig. But now, like, you know, we get to really make history. We have, you know, like I said, we have the first woman of color to be president of the United States. And, like, you know, our country, it was founded on the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Kamala Harris, nothing embodies those values more than a Kamala Harris presidency. So I'm pumped. Like, I'm ready. You know, I am so excited. I'm a proud white dude for Kamala Harris, baby. Let's go.
This dude is hilarious. The troll job is amazing.
Woo!
Have you seen any excitement at a Democratic event like in this stadium? Or?
No, listen, this is amazing. You know, like, you can't generate. I couldn't see any more excitement. Like, the only way there could be any more excitement is if, you know, maybe you had like an artist or a celebrity performing or opening for Kamala, but no, this is amazing. This is like celebrity level of excitement. This is a
Now, hey, shout out to the background music. So they play a lot of black music throughout the show for the TV part. But then when it comes to some of these parts, they got to play the white song, Sweet Caroline. Is that what that is? You go from Cardi B, booty shaking, to Sweet Caroline.
A rock star. And then, you know, like, the thing that I'm the happiest about when it comes to Kamala Harris presidency, it's the economy. And, you know, I'm really excited about how she finally wants to put a cap on prices at the grocery store. And, you know, like, look, even if price controls, you know, may lead to like shortages of food and basic goods, you know, the shortages will lead to rationing, and rationing, that leads to equity, and we need to be a more equitable place in America to dismantle our legacy of white supremacy. So thank you so much for hearing my voice and so many voices like me.
Yeah, shout out to the dude. That right there was hilarious. Oh, they eating it up without a reason. They eating it up. They're asking them questions. They're investing. Got a microphone on his face. They're recording them. Yeah, right on it. So shout out to him, man. But that is the kind of guy that they love over on the left. Matter of fact, I got a few more videos. I got two more. I got to show you guys these. These fit perfect with what I was just talking about. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, Dr. Drew and Nicole Shanahan were talking about the term trad wife and why it's seen as a pejorative to some people. Check it out.
Your peer group.
RP to the headphone user. Sorry for the loud noise. Let's go here.
Yeah. It'd be just terrible.
Yeah. You know, I read a comment today too that got to me, and I don't know why it got to me so much, but I was called, which I find so bizarre, but a QAnon trad wife.
Oh,
I was like, wow.
They got you on every every aspect of your integrity is attacked there. Yeah, because you're a scientist, technologist. You're careful in your positions. Not a conspiracy theorist.
I am not.
And trad wife, like, how dare they?
Well, look, I mean, I didn't know what a trad wife was until, 5 months ago when I got on social media, but I guess it's this new theme, but it really is used as a slur, a traditional wife. And I don't understand how that became such a negative slur. I mean, if someone said trad husband, like, is that now a negative?
So for you guys, I know you guys know, but for you guys might be new here, welcome, first of all. But also, trad wife is short for traditional wife. old school, 1950s, whatever, right? And she was being called that as a pejorative. They were trying to insult her. Oh, QAnon, you believe in wacko conspiracy theories, or you're a trad wife, and all this, that, and the third, right? That's what they're trying to insult her with. But a lot of people that say stuff like that probably can't even boil water. They probably would burn their stove up by trying to boil water. They can't even make oodles and noodles, spaghetti, top ramen, nothing without burning their house down. But I digress.
Feels like I would receive that almost as a compliment.
Would you?
Yeah.
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 I mean, like, when I think about a traditional husband, I think about a husband that,
Working
has
hard,
a job,
providing, yeah.
likes to provide, comes home, kisses his wife, kisses his kids, has a dinner, with their family, and the family's together, and asks the kids, "How was your day, kids?" What's so
Mm.
I don't know.
Well, and you're asking that question at a time when our birth rates are collapsing.
Yeah, I discovered that. Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to her. Yeah, if you call me something like that, I'll take it as a positive. That's definitely a positive. All right. Now, here's what I wanted to show as far as the whole women's rights kerfuffle. How are you going to advocate for women's rights when you don't know what a woman is?
I also think it's literally insane to run a campaign on protecting women's rights and protecting women's bodies, and you can't define what a woman is. So if you can't define what a woman is, how are you going to protect women? What are their rights? What makes us different from men? I would love to see her answer even the most basic question.
And one more time.
I also think it's literally insane to run a campaign on protecting women's rights and protecting women's bodies, and you can't define what a woman is. So if you can't define what a woman is, how are you going to protect women?
I mean, these are basic questions that need to be asked. If you can't define what a woman is, if I go to Kamala and say, "What is a woman?" and you stubborn, all right, if you don't know, then how are you going to actually protect women? How are you going to go about doing this? I'm kind of lost. I'm kind of confused. Like, what's going on here? All right. So yeah. Oh yeah. She's definitely a pretty young lady. That's what we got on the conservative side. A lot of beautiful women over here. Okay. We got them. We definitely got them. All right. Now, shout out to the trad wives out there. French fry, proud trad wife for 39 years. Shout out to you. Okay. Shell says married 31 years. So guess what qualifies as a trad wife? Hey, shout out to y'all. Congratulations for your marriages and being married that long. Yes. So if somebody wants to call you a QAnon trad wife, hey, take it as a badge of honor. Take it as a badge of honor. All right. That's a good thing. At least you're not out here setting tires on fire, getting deleted in the middle of the road because you're trying to have a protest. You're doing the right thing. You minding your business, being a wife, having a family. That's the American dream. Now, this is what they're actually doing to women. They're talking about women's rights and all this, that, and the third. Well, you have the border being wide open and a lot of human trafficking happening. So what happens as a result of that? You're going to get quite a few women who get trafficked across the border. And you're seeing what you're seeing right now. This right here is Queens, New York City. Queens. It's looking like Times Square back in the day. Looking like Amsterdam without the, organization. You got a whole red light district. Look at this. And these look like straight up Chinese nationals. I could be wrong. They could be Latina, but I don't think. These are Chinese nationals. These are Chinese. But, I covered the story about how the Chinese nationals get up to 35,000. Well, they don't get, pardon me. The Chinese nationals pay up to 35,000 US dollars to get smuggled across into the USA. Now, if I'm being told that they are so poor and they're so downtrodden and they got to come to the USA because they're trying to seek shelter, then what kind of person in that situation would be able to have $35,000 in cash? Can you guys just take 35 grand out of your bank and set it on fire in front of you? Can you do that? Because listen, they might not make it for 35,000. They may pay that coyote and everybody that amount of money, but they might not make it. So then they got to pay it again. Or if they can't afford it, then they're just out of luck. They stranded in the Darien Gap or wherever they're going to go. Now, I want to play that one. Okay, I'm playing the last video here. Then we're going to get to the calls. This one is about the Chinese nationals. And what's happening, their whole thing, and how much money they're paying, the whole situation. All right, can I get this? Hold on. There we go. That's a metal detector right there, if you know what that noise was. But that ain't what I want right now. What I want is a video that I am trying to play.
The Mexican cartel loves.
All right, there we go. TikTok is weird. They have their own keyboard shortcuts to supersede yours. I don't like it. I don't like that part.
The Mexican cartel loves the Chinese migrant smuggling is because the Chinese are willing to pay cartel up to 35 grand to be smuggled into the U.S. One thing you notice straight off the bat with the Chinese, they look completely clean. Clean luggage, shoes, outfit.
They look great. They look fantastic because these are not homeless, hungry people. These are like middle class or rich people coming into the U.S. for free. And then what happens is, what happens with the Chinese nationals, I'm gonna start from the top. With the Chinese nationals or anybody else coming into the country as an asylum seeker, or they might be a getaway, or they might get released to the interior of the country, what happens is when they get released, or when they're given asylum status, whatever the case may be, what happens is they just have kids, okay? Or if it's a woman, she might already be pregnant. So you think it's just one woman by herself, she's so poor and homeless and hungry, but in reality, she's 5 months pregnant and she's already married and she got another baby already, another 8-year-old son. So here comes, you think it's one person, but really you got now 2 kids, a husband and a wife, a family of 4, just like that. And you can't deport them because the anchor baby got born. And with the anchor baby, if you guys don't know, I know you guys know, but if you guys don't know what an anchor baby is, if you're born in the USA, you have what they call birthright citizenship. It doesn't matter if your parents are migrants, if they're here illegally, it doesn't matter. If you're born in the USA, you are a citizen. Now, if the baby is born to illegal aliens, they can't deport the parents because the child is now without parents. That's an anchor baby. So when they come into the interior of the country, or they're given a court date 10 years in the future, when they are given asylum, whatever it is, they shouldn't be here permanently. But once them kids come along, they're here. That's an anchor baby. Now, was Kamala an anchor baby? Because I know her parents are not from the USA. I think they were going to school. Was it an education visa? What's going on? Her dad came from Jamaica. Her mom came from India. So was Kamala an anchor baby? I'm just asking the question. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but let me just play this right quick. Then we get to the calls.
The Mexican cartel loves the Chinese migrant smuggling is because the Chinese are willing to pay cartel up to 35 grand to be smuggled into the U.S. One thing you notice straight off the bat with the Chinese, they look completely clean. Clean luggage, shoes, outfit, clean. We start doing interviews on Google Translate. They have to fly to Ecuador. It does not require a travel visa from a Chinese citizen. Once they fly to Ecuador, smugglers, and it's already coordinated in their chats, will then get them to Colombia. From Neocoli, Colombia, they have hotels just for Chinese migrants. So from there, the Chinese get on boats. Those boats will take them to Central America. From there, the Chinese are going through the Darien Gap. It's probably the most dangerous journey in the world. And as soon as they get into Mexico, government officials issue them that travel visa, so then they're freely allowed to travel. But then meet them at the airport. They'll take them an hour out of Tijuana in an area called Tecate, and they'll cross illegally into Jacumba Hot Springs right out of San Diego. That's kind of the migration trail for Chinese right now.
So there it is. They got the whole thing planned out. Everything's mapped out. They get directions. They get guidance. They got all of that because they're paying top dollar. 35 bands, set it on fire. And on the low end is 10 bands, $10,000 to cross. And if you fail, I mean, hey, try again. I need $10,000 more. Ain't no discount, ain't no refund. I need 10 more thousand. And you might get extorted on the way by the cartel or rival cartels or just regular citizens. It might extort you on the way. And what you gonna do? You gonna not pay it or what? All right. Royalty says, what's up, ABL from Columbus? Had no idea you're from West Virginia. I got a lot of family in Columbus, Ohio, too. A lot of family in Columbus, Ohio. I probably got more there than West Virginia, actually. If you see anybody, listen to me very clearly. If you see anybody in Columbus that looks like me, they're probably my cousin. I'm so serious. It's a lot of us up there in Columbus. A lot of us. I might got to call my mom and them and see what's everybody's name. I met some of them, but I've not. It's a lot of hundreds in Columbus. Being serious. So yeah, if you ever in the store, you think you see ABL in Columbus, that's my cousin, 100%. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That helped me out tremendously. All right, let's get to some calls. I have a lot more videos, but I couldn't get to everything tonight. But let's go ahead and get to the calls. The number to call 434-658-1220. But first, before we get to the calls, we got super chats. We do have supers. I'm gonna go ahead and let those. I'm gonna read those right quick. Then we're gonna get to the calls. And I got quite a few super chats, so it might be a minute. So y'all hang tight. Thank you to Buttface McPerson, who says the feds are going everywhere, doing everything. That's right. Shout out to HVM. I see you, boss. I saw you earlier in the stream. Shout out to HVM, who says ABL salute. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you for coming through and being very generous. Shout out to Apple, who says 6 weeks ago, Deep State deleted Corey Comparatore. He said murdered. I guess I can say murdered. Thank you to Cool Breeze 0422 for becoming an ABL superstar. Thank you to Apple Barker All Puff Daddy, who says, never forget July 13th, Deep State are evil, go Trump. Shout out, is it ABL Prime? Shout out to Kai's Posthumous, who says, ABL, a federal judge of Oklahoma argued machine guns are legal to own under Second Amendment and totally threw this guy's case out over a Glock switch. Oh, there we go. Shout out to him. Shout out to him. My man had got on the side that day. Thank you to Apple again, who says, funny how Bernie Sanders spoke, slamming billionaires. Then after that, J.B. Pritzker brags about being a billionaire. Are the Democrats not self-aware? They're not. They do. They say anything. They don't care. Thank you to Apple again, who says, by the way, J.B. Pritzker equals Fred Flintstone without the charm. Apple also says, Democrat woman says President Trump will weaponize FBI and DOJ to go after political opponents. Again, no self-awareness from Democrats, pure projection. Apple also says, please, ABL, give a shout out to the putties. I can't do that one right now. Thank you to Apple again, who says, ABL, your top 3 favorite cities to visit in the USA. Why? Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, Atlanta. Tampa, Florida. Well, Florida almost don't even count because I gotta say Tampa, Miami, Orlando. But out of the Florida places, Tampa's my favorite. I like the way it was designed. I like the way that side of Florida is versus being down in Miami. I like Tampa a lot. I like Phoenix, Arizona when it's not blistering hot. Those are probably my top 3 that I can think of right now. Where else? Dallas is cool. I like Dallas, but not as much as Phoenix. And the reason why I like Phoenix is because it's a different environment. It's like the Western type of environment. I like El Paso, Texas. Vegas is kind of in that same category, but Vegas is kind of a dump a little bit. I mean, Vegas is cool, but I'll prefer between, if it was Vegas, Phoenix, El Paso, those similar places as far as the climate and the scenery, I would pick Phoenix, El Paso, then Vegas. So, yeah. Aside from that, I think I'm cool. There's other places that I like to go. Back to Virginia, of course. Shout out to Virginia. Of course, West by God as a state. West Virginia as a state, not necessarily Charleston, which is not really, but the state I like. Appalachia, the region I like Appalachia. That's different than a city. You see what I'm saying? I like Florida as a place, Appalachia as a place, and some of the South as a place. But the city specifically, Tampa, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Phoenix, Arizona. That's my favorite. Warm places, Sunbelt places. I'm not into the cold weather. It's a lot of nice places around the country, a lot of beautiful cities, but those are my top 3. DC, I don't like. I don't like DC, really. Expensive. I'm not a DC fan. DC is so weird. When I was in DC proper, the last time I was there, you see things there you don't see other places. I was seeing a bunch of young homeless people. It was really weird. I'm talking about, they look like they might have been teenagers, no more than 18, 19, homeless out in DC, just on the street, sleeping in storefronts and stuff like this with book bags on. It's like they look like they're about to get on the bus in the morning and go to school. I was like, what is this out here? It was I've never seen it before anywhere else. And then, of course, Los Angeles, ghetto. New York, too crowded for me. A little bit too congested. That's why I like Atlanta, because Atlanta is like New York a lot. Atlanta is New York, just they call it a little apple. It's more spread out. You got more space in Atlanta. You know, and New York is similar to Atlanta because you got your bad neighborhoods you don't go to and some really good spots that are beautiful. But I like the more stretched out nature of Atlanta versus New York. Kind of, if New York was not in the cold place and if it wasn't so congested, it'd be better. I would like it more. LA is just too many people and it's ghetto. Yeah, that's a thing. But Florida, great place. Shout out to Ron DeSantis. All right. Shout out to Laura Catherine that says, ABL, you are the hardest working person on these interwebs. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to LP who says, how was your one day off? Great coverage, though. Thank you. Hey, it was all good. Thank you for your comment and your super chat. Thank you to Yo Fam who says, is Tennessee planning on doing a bill for mandatory DNA testing at birth? I've not heard that, but I would not be mad at it if that was the case, especially if it is not going to be cost prohibitive. Steve Kerfuffle, great name by the way, of course, says, if I were you, I'd stay right where you are. You're lucky to be out there. Oh yeah, I'm in a great place. I like where I live strategically. Chattanooga as a place is cool, but it's not Atlanta. It's not Nashville. Nashville is cool too. Nashville is the same as Atlanta, it's just with whites. Nashville is more white, Atlanta is more black, but it's the same thing ultimately. Rather than rap music, you got country music. It's very similar. Big on entertainment and stuff like that, but that's a different story. I like where I am because of the proximity to both of these places, and it's you got some hills, some mountains. You have seasons that are not too bad, mild winters, warm summers. It's not too brutally hot, but hot enough. I like it. It's a great place geographically. From geographically in many ways, your proximity to Atlanta and Nashville and Knoxville and the mountains, plus you're in the South, so it doesn't get cold really, it doesn't snow really. If you go up in the mountains of the snow, but not down in the valley where I am. Anyway, think it's Michael Critchlow says, can you show the video of Chris Cuomo exposing the DNC and how it costs $500,000 to $5 million just to be there? I sure did show that. Shout out to you, man. Great mind think alike. Now, the thing about Atlanta, you can't go to certain places. If you go into downtown and stuff like this, you're in the wrong place. If all you do is go to downtown Atlanta, you're gonna have a bad experience, in my opinion. You got to go outside. Yeah, it's not like New York City where you go to Manhattan and everything's right there. You got to go out. You know, you got to go out, man. There's some beautiful places down like Alpharetta. Oh my goodness, beautiful. Like the northern part, Giants Creek, all of that, very nice. Thank you to Cowpoke Ranch who says, hot take, Trump should have reached across the aisle to Tim Walz or RFK Jr. as a VP pick. Both of them are great on education and healthcare. Thank you to Zedatus King Sword for being a member. 58 months. Shout out to you, boss. I appreciate it. Long time lifer. That's like a penitentiary sentence right there, but we're not in the penitentiary. We are free as a bird. Thank you to Brent Armstrong who says, Foo Fighters definitely did a cease and desist. Facepalm. That's crazy. Yeah, RIP to Foo Fighters and their message. Shout out to NYR who says, most often these quote-unquote worms are parasites from uncooked fish or pork. He had a lot of sushi in the past, accounting for mercury poisoning. Well, that could do it. Thank you to Tony who says, you awesome like Anton Daniel. Stay ruthless, sir. Shout out to you. Shout out to Anton. Really, really good content curator. Killing the game right now. Shout out to him. Thank you to Ron Henderson who says, save the Republic, vote for Trump, Vance. Thank you to Michael Critchlow who says, in weird news, did you hear about the streaming service Chick-fil-A is planning to roll out by the end of the year? Chick-fil-A, listen, if you're watching the Chick-fil-A streaming service, you have the biggest back in this entire universe. Your back is big as a whole billboard on the side of the road, man. That's crazy. Like, what are you going to watch on Chick-fil-A streaming service? How to eat chicken tendies properly with the correct sauce? What is going on? That's nuts, man. I might have to... Hold on. I ain't going to pull it up. I just want to see it for later. Chick-fil-A streaming service. Oh, wow. Wow. That's something else. Okay. Yeah, that's way too big back for me. Thank you to No Excuse Lifestyle Rocky Cage, who says, "What's up, ABL? Been a listener for 8 years, but first time super chatting. Not the biggest fan of Trump, but that's a definite no for Kamala. Trump 24. Salute to you, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate you for being a lifer. I really, really appreciate you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I always say it, and I'm being serious. I could not do the show without you, man. So thank you. Thank you to Chris Forte for being an ABL supporter. Thank you to Conservative Politic, who says, "What's up, ABL in chat? First time catching the live. I usually listen through podcasts. Love the channel. Keep up the awesome job. God bless. God bless you as well, man. Thank you for your super chat." Thank you to Shine, who says, "ABL, I have a question. Who is this guy named Big Mike? His name floating around the internets." Big Mike, you know Big Mike is, man. We don't gotta, you know Big Mike is. Shout out to Big Mike. Thank you to Conservative Politic, who says, "Hey, I just heard that Cornell just dropped out of endorse Trump. Is that true?" No, that's not true. Cornell West, hold on. Before I say no, let me just double check myself. No, I don't see anything about that. I don't see anything about that at all. So, yeah. Thank you to MRR, who says, "It's prime when women want to procreate. They see Democrat counterparts and they are not procreating material." Simple. Exactly. To, on a biological level, man got to be a man. Man got to be the toxic masculinity. Man got to it's just like let boys be boys, let girls be girls. Boys, when I was a boy, I was just doing whatever. I was outside just being rambunctious as boys are. And girls are different. We're different, and it's okay to be different. Just because you are not the same does not mean you are inferior. You're just different. Okay? It's just as simple as that. Thank you to Block MIT, who says, "Low T guys have a name. Soy boys." Thank you to Ryan Henderson, who says, "My fear of Kamala is communism, socialism, and stupidity." Thank you to Elizabeth Capone Cook for the thank you emoji. Thank you to Golf and Guns, who says, "The U.S. is being played by the world because we have birthright citizenship." Thank you to Brent Armstrong, who says, Phoenix used to be nice, but with the Democrats getting rid of the loitering laws, it's filled with zombies." That's terrible. Terrible, terrible. But they probably won't allow that in their neck of the woods. Scottsdale, all these places. What's the name of that spot? Paradise Ranch or whatever that is out there. You know what I'm talking about. Out there, they don't do that. But in the city, in the community, in the lower income areas, it's fine. Thank you to Uncle Horse, who says, "Been here for years, been a caller, still a viewer. Much love from the outskirts of Austin, Texas. Keep up the good work, and when it doesn't work out, just blame it on the white man. Praying for you." Thank you for that. I appreciate you. All righty, let's go ahead and get into the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description, also in the ticker right there below me. It'll pop up at a certain point. And if the Skype doesn't work right, don't blame me. Blame the white man, because it ain't my fault. Let me get my sound together first, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. All righty. There we go. I think I'm good now. All right, Matt, what's happening?
Hey, cousin ABL, what are you doing?
Everything's good, man. Chilling.
You got cousins, you're an uncle. It all works out.
Yes, indeed.
And that whole soy boy thing is like a real deal. Quite literally, is like RFK is showing it. It is like all these seed oils and all this other. It's our diet and our vaccines and all that stuff that's turning into beta cucks, man.
I see.
So that guy at the DNC that was like trolling about his girlfriend's or his wife's chosen a African American partner. I love that. So I go after the black girls. I took one back for the team. And I'm calling on all these white guys to start going after the black girls, because it is like a childless cat lady thing going on right now, especially with the white woman. I was talking to someone about it once. I was like, let's just get rid of woman for a minute and just say we're talking about men. and the Titanic is going down. You got two 35-year-old men. Let's say one of them has kids and one of them doesn't. Which one's going to get a spot on the boat first? Right?
Right.
It'll be the one with the kids. Of course it would be, because I've literally had this debate like about women, like up here in Seattle. They don't believe women and children first. Like when I was trying to say that anecdote in a discussion once, they're just like, well, I don't think women should get on first and stuff like that. I was like, you're insane. You are absolutely insane.
But what, like, why did he say that? What was the reasoning behind that?
Equality.
Well, hey, it's where we are nowadays.
But these are people that don't have the kids, because once you put a baby in them, it changes them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like this, like AOC, to my left, and Elizabeth Warren to my right. I mean, someone's got to put babies in these girls. And the dating scene right now is so wild. Like, I'm trying to hook up a friend of mine. I'm just like, dude, I wouldn't go around on Tinder or nothing like that. I would literally just say, look, I want to have a baby right now. You're in your mid-30s. Just tell people straight up, I want to have a baby, start a family, and don't even mess around. You know what I mean? And I have a feeling that the ladies will come right to you. So
I mean, there is a market for that, because there was this one guy that I think he was in New York. And he offered a service. He would inseminate the women the old-fashioned way and give them a baby with no strings attached. I think he had a bunch. It was like,
they go
100.
for it.
Yeah, they go for it.
Yeah, and lesbians are no fun to anybody. I think Dave Chappelle was right about that. Like, no one likes to hang around with them. So I think it's like kind of like what you said. Everybody's just screaming for a real man to just go out and make some babies and stop messing around.
Yeah.
And as far as so I would definitely, if I were a white dude and single, I would go to Atlanta and get the black females. And if I were not gay, I'll give a tip to anybody in their 30s that wants a woman. Go to Southern California. Go to like Palm Springs. All the dudes are gay. All the women are widows and wealthy and in their 30s. And all you got to do is put a baby in one of them. And then you're made. That's all I got for you, man. I hope people take my advice.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Take it easy.
All right. Shout out to Matt. Always a good call. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Let's go to 843. You're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Widows and wealthy.
ABL.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, it's Rocco. Call from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, my man.
All righty. What's going on?
Man, how you doing this evening?
It's all good, man. Can't complain.
Man, shout out to you, everybody in the chat. Hey, last Saturday I couldn't call in. I was actually spending some time over at my mother's house, and at the end of the segment, I did watch you though. You started talking about movies because people started like throwing movies at you, and you're like, "Well, why do I have to watch a Marvel Universe or a superhero movie and this and that?" You know, I was like, "Man, I wish I'd call it right now and just name a couple good movies that will give you a good laugh." I want to tell you one right now. You might have already seen it. It's called Tropic Thunder. Have you seen it yet?
I've seen pieces of that. I've not seen it all the way through.
Robert Downey Jr. killed that, man. He killed it. The only dude in blackface that got away with it, and it was just spectacular, and it was funny, and he nailed it. It wasn't anything racist at all, man, but it was just the fact that you're actually watching it in the first 10 minutes, you think it's us, Robert Downey Jr., but then after you think into the character, you're like, oh my God, it's like, who is this dude, man? He's like, he was killing it with his lines and his talk and his way he talked and everything, man. I just think it was a funny movie. I'm just saying, we all need a laugh in this sick age we're living in, with everything that's going on with the Democrats, and do as I say, not as I do. And, trying to steal elections away, going after and hey, shout out to RFK, man. That was monumental. And for him to pick that time to do that press conference right at the end of the DNC on a Friday, they're soaking on that all weekend, man. And their heads are spinning right now. And shout out to everybody that was applauding him in that arena. That was full, by the way. It was full. I mean, it was like packed to the max as far as you could see in the nosebleed seats, by the way, packed. Not like the DNC where Kamala had to put up black curtains to cover up sections that they couldn't even fill. Just saying, man. But another shout out, one other movie I want to say, man. You're a wrestler. You like wrestling, right? You grew up with me like WWF, WWE.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, right? Have you ever gone to a live match?
I have. Yep. I went to one in Norfolk. I went to at least 2 matches. One I remember that was at the Coliseum in Hampton, and then one at Norfolk Scope. Yep.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's a fun time.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, what I want to do is give a shout out to an RIP for Rowdy Roddy Piper. There's a movie that he did in 1988. I know I got some age on you now. I'm 57, so, let's give it up for Uncle Rocco here. But that movie, if you watch that movie, and I'm telling everybody in this room, they watch that movie, what's really crazy is when he puts those glasses on and all of a sudden he wakes up. Later we got The Matrix. But way before The Matrix, to me, that movie, They Live, everybody should watch that movie, man, because there's a lot of similarities in what's going on in our government, how they just want you, they put smoke and mirrors, and this isn't what's happening. This is what's happening over here. Don't look here. It's over here. I mean, it's kind of boring in the movie. I'm gonna be honest with y'all right away. It drags in the beginning, but as soon as Roddy puts glasses on and wakes up and sees what's going on around him, I think it's a spectacular movie, and it was done in 1988. So anyway, look, I want to get off. I want to say everybody, shout out everybody in the room, everybody in the chat. You, ABL, you're stellar. You're amazing. Keep up the good work. One little thing I want to say, I know we're all America first in here, but please, I think you need to pay attention. We need to pay attention to what's going on in Great Britain right now, because potentially we could be looking at the same thing happening in this country as what's happening in the United Kingdom. Hey, I understand we're all America first, but please take 5 minutes or so to look what's going on in the UK. Children are being slaughtered over there. Children are being raped and slaughtered for no reason. And the police are going against the good people. Anyway, shout out. I love you guys. Love everybody else. Peace.
Peace. All right. Shout out to the caller. Great calls. Keep on rocking and rolling. Let's go to 310. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Ryan from Georgia, ABL. How you doing, sir?
Everything's all right. How about yourself?
Oh, real good. Celebrating a birthday. I just turned 70 today.
Happy birthday.
So, thank you, sir. And it's been a blessed day. But, I've been missing you guys for the past couple of weeks trying to get through. But after finishing up that DNC, oh, man, that was a funny thing. It was hilarious. It's nowhere near what the RNC was. And what's killing me about that is that, everything that they were, they had, like you said, they have nothing about policy, everything about Trump, everything about, gender dysphoria and everything like that. Everything that's negative, this is what they want to propagate. This is what they want to propagate on us. And, it's nothing about Americans. It's about the individuals, these individuals. And I'm telling you, it's not palatable. When you go ahead and have vasectomy clinics right outside the DNC, abortion clinic right outside the DNC, what's up with that? Like I said, there's no creation in abortion. I'm telling you. And then the thing about it is, how is that health care? That's health murder. But anyway, it's crazy what they are propagating and trying to tell us that this is our normal way of thinking. It's not. And I've been on my knees, man. I'm telling you, for this country. And the thing about it is that I'm seeing a lot of people waking up. But I went to the gun show today, and one of the gun vendors had a Kamala shirt and everything like that, and asked me if I wanted. I said, no, don't hand me one of those things. I said, I'm not with that party. I'm not with that action right there. And they start laughing and said, well, it starts up a lot of controversy. I said, yeah. I said, and I ain't part of it. You know, I said, but these people are, not really looking at what's really going on with our country today. But, there's a stark contrast between the RNC and the DNC. There's like I said, one party is for the country, the other party is for these individuals. And like I said, the beta males and twisted females and everything is crazy. But you know what? There's hope. You're like I said, I keep telling you that you're one of the ones that give us hope, and the people that's watching you and chatting and everything, that gives us hope. We are making a difference. Believe it or not, I don't care what the Democrat market is trying to tell us. It's not that. It's like you said, the hat 1984. My wife and I, we watched the movie 1984, and we started laughing because it said this is exactly what's happening right now. Big brother looking at you, telling you this and that, and trying to stop you from free thinking. Think like the mob. No, I'm sorry. I'm a free thinker. I'm an individual, and I have my own worldview. Like I said, and it's not theirs. It's not there. I'm not buying it. And I just tell the rest of the Americans, don't buy what they're selling, because what they're selling, you're gonna be hating it. That's for sure. But I just want to tell you, brother, I love you. You're doing a good job, man. Just keep doing what you're doing, brother. Get your rest, because you've been working hard this week, brother.
Definitely.
Time for some rest. But I appreciate you, man. You just have a blessed day, okay?
All right, now. Thank you for your call.
All right, then. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. And again, happy birthday. 70 years old. Enjoy your birthday. You're blessed to be here. Shout out to you, man. Great call. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Let's go to 747. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, hi, it's Susan. I was calling in on the food issues. We've had Mike Taylor in the FDA, a Monsanto attorney who morphed to the FDA. This was also surrounding genetically engineered foods, which changed to genetically modified. Now we're calling them bioengineered. Anyway, we're worried about food dye, and I'm a big supporter of Kennedy. Always have been, because he's with the Children's Health Defense Fund. They're doing great work over there. There's great doctors, scientists, the people ostracized from our own government. So the biggest problem is that people they'll have intellectual property on our food. Now, are we going to be like England and somebody says something on your show and now we're not going to give them food because I own the food? So this is our biggest problem. Our health is important. Our bodies are our temples. But when we're talking about globalization and certain groups of people owning the food, we're in deep, deep trouble. Oh, by the way, I'm from LA, and this is not the ghetto. It's a big group of people that are from all over the world, and we're pretty proud of ourselves here.
Well, hey, if you like it, I love it. It's all good. Enjoy LA. If you like it, that's great. I'm glad. I
don't like living in a rural area where these people live over there and those people live over there. Everybody lives together here in the San Fernando Valley. So, and nobody has a problem with each other. I just don't even understand the world because of where I live.
What do you mean?
I mean, the guy over at the market over here is speaking Farsi, and the guy over here is Korean, and my sister-in-law is Korean, and, my son-in-law is Salvadoran. And so, no, we're not looking at all that stuff anymore. It's a big distraction for what's really going on with people privatizing everything in this world.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue. The privatization of things, depending on what it is, there's a lot of issues going on.
Well, none of the issues that they're bringing up around sexuality, that's in every single election for the last 30 years. So tired of it. So over it. So don't even think about what other people do sexually. Didn't even know about sex till I was 14 and couldn't even imagine why anybody would participate. I guess I had to get a little older to figure that out. But I'm just tired of them putting these superficial arguments in front of us, just like the DNC convention was. Yeah, it looked like a Hollywood production. I've worked in Hollywood, so I'm well aware of you know, kind of the malarkey.
I hear you.
Anyway, thank you for your show. Thanks for letting people get a voice out. And yeah, as far as the wars go too, people need to start thinking about Ukraine is north of Iran. And now that Gaza is getting cleared out, Turkey's co-signing with Israel over Gaza's oil. That's what they're doing there. It's not that we're, you know, getting anybody's rights or democracy or anything else. We've got a two-front strategy going on to take oil from Iran. It's going to probably be the biggest mistake our country makes. Anyway, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right.
All right. Shout out to her. One thing I want to say about LA is she's up in the San Fernando Valley. That's like Burbank, Calabasas, all of that. That's like the really nice area. It's nice up there in the hills. It's beautiful up there. But when I went to LA, I'm in Inglewood. I'm by the airport. Pico, all of that over there. Mexico and ghetto. But up in the hills is nice. Yeah, it's beautiful up there, of course. But down in the downtown Los Angeles, I would never. Downtown Los Angeles is like something you would see in a post-apocalyptic world. But away from all of that, it's beautiful, but very expensive. So, yeah, she's right that it's not ghetto where she is. It's very nice where she lives. Let's keep on going. $281, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Heather in Texas.
All righty, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm well, can't complain.
Good. Hey, no one's talking about this, but something I noticed when I was listening to RFK give his exit speech, not the speech at the rally, but the one where he actually announced to the press that he was suspending his campaign. And it was when he was talking about the Ukraine and Biden's involvement in it. Did you catch any of that?
I didn't.
It's worth going back and listening to. I had to go back and listen to it a couple of times, because his voice, it's kind of hard to understand him at times, but he basically said that in April of 2022, okay, now remember, Russia went in February of 2022. Apparently in April of 2022, Biden sent Boris Johnson over to Ukraine to talk to Zelensky to force him to sign up the peace treaty. That Russia was in the process of withdrawing their troops, and Biden didn't want that to happen. He wanted a regime change in Russia. And I find that extremely disturbing. And nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue. That's definitely a problem. And that's part of what I've been talking about. Like, they're trying to fight this proxy war to engage in some politics over there to try and force things to change. And I'm not a fan. Regime change, things of this nature, is always a bad deal.
Yeah, I'm not either. We need to stop this, like JFK or RFK kept saying, we need to stop the neocons from, creating all these wars. And we do. I mean, I didn't always have this perspective because I really didn't understand what was going on, but I see it now, ABL, and it's very scary. I think this is what's going on with Iran too. I think this is why they don't really want Israel to go in and just end this war. Israel could end this. They could go in and they could, let me tell you, they could go in and they could end this. The reason they haven't is because they are looking out for the civilians. They don't want to just carpet bomb like we did in Dresden. And it's just really disturbing. And I just wanted your listeners to go listen to that speech again. It's the one he gave to the press about 50 minutes long. About halfway through it is when he starts talking about Ukraine. And it was shocking. I was just, he filled some info that we have not heard, and the media didn't talk about it. That was the other thing. The media didn't tell us. Basically, this war could have ended in April of 2020, 2 months after it started. But it was Biden and who's his defense guy? Lloyd
Austin.
Lloyd Austin. It was Lloyd Austin and Biden that didn't want it to end. They wanted a regime change in Russia. So anyway, just wanted to bring that up because I don't hear anybody else talking about it. And that's just, to me, we need Trump in office because we don't need any more of this. We don't need to be pushed to the brink of World War III. I'm tired of living in fear. Well, I know everybody else is too.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right. But thanks. You have a good night.
Same to you now. Thank you for the call.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. I'll take one more call because we're at 11 o'clock. Let's keep on going here. Let's go to, all right, y'all give me a second. 504, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Alien Spaceship.
All right, man, what's going on?
All right, you could hear me?
I heard you well.
Okay. What I was trying to say last time was you've been doing very well with your streams the days you've been doing it, and you've been putting in a lot of hard work, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Okay. So, yeah, basically, I agree about the situation with the neocons are doing. And, like, for instance, like, I come from a family on my mom's side that's American that were JFK-type Democrats, but, like, as I became an adult, I see how the Democrat Party is not like what it used to be, like, in the sense, like, during JFK's time. And I think they're going, back and focusing on things from, a long time ago, and they seem like they're pandering to the radical left and anti-American causes. And I think that, I can absolutely see what RFK can see, and I'm glad that he is able to see that. And it was good to see him suspend the campaign and be at the Trump rally, because, what he would do is he might split up the vote in the favor of Kamala, and hopefully he would be able to drop out of it so it wouldn't split up the vote.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a good decision from his point of view, from our point of view as well.
Yeah. And I think these Chinese migrants that are coming in, I wonder what they're up to. It can't be anything good, because I think that's definitely a threat to national security, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, they can be a threat to national security. I think, they can be activated at any time. But I think the main thing is they're here for the same reason everybody else is, just to get money. And they don't really care about the legality of it.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what a lot of them are doing, because I've seen on the live streams, on other live streams, they're all coming in, tons of them. And yeah, it's going to drain our country's, our government's money. It's already been, we're already trillions in debt already. It's only draining it more and more. And like in LA, as you're pointing out, there's horrible areas. There's parts where there's homeless tents everywhere. There's needles and people on drugs everywhere. And there's other parts that are very good. And I think that that's going to be more and more divided. And if this isn't stopped, in my opinion, it's going to get, this country is going to be in a really, really worse situation it already is in.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Now, I'm optimistic that, America has been through very tough times in the past. And I do have faith that the American people will not allow it to go completely downhill. And, we went through the British breaking away from England, the different World War II, World War I, and the different wars that happened. And I do believe that America will triumph in the end, though, of course.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I like how they're pointing out about the soy boys, because a lot of the people over on the Democrat side are complete soy boys, and they don't like masculinity, but it's just in human nature and nature in the wild. You have male and female, and to try to disrupt the natural order of things for their Marxist ideology isn't going to work, because anywhere it was tried, it failed.
That's right. 100%.
Right. And also, the rest of this year is going to be very interesting. And I think that it's very good that there's people looking at the different Black conservatives and seeing a different perspective. And I really appreciate the impact that y'all are making on the people.
Thank you, man. It means a lot to me because I came into YouTube creation trying to make that kind of impact. So I'm glad I'm successful in that.
Right. And also I've shown, my Black friends, your things on Instagram. That's where they're more at. And they like your content too.
Well, I'm glad they do. Shout out to them and shout out to you for sending it to them.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. ABL, that's all I have to say for this call. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
Okay. Bye.
All right, that will be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys for being here. If you could not get on tonight, I'm sorry. Please blame the white man because it ain't my fault. But I'll be back live on Wednesday, unless it's something that pops up, some kind of special event or something like that. I'll be back live on Wednesday. But I'm putting out pre-recorded content all throughout the week. Uncle ABL, I'm still doing content for that. I got a few videos that I'm gonna be putting out in the coming week. I got some videos already lined up, so I will be doing content over there. I think on Uncle ABL, I'm going to do one about the whole soy boy thing. They're talking about, we don't like we don't like the liberal guys. They're too soft in there. It was Dana Bash really got on TV and said, hey, you know what? The Democratic Party is a safe space. If you want to be soft and you're not really a macho man, come be a Democratic. Come be part of the Democratic Party. That's a ringing endorsement, ain't it? Hey, you know what? You might be a little bit soft. You might be a little bit weak, but we still love you in the Democratic Party. That's crazy to say. But I might do one for that. But that will be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. Shout out to everybody in the chat for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. I could not do the show without you. Thank you to the moderators keeping the trolls in check and the chat nice and clean and above board. I appreciate y'all for that as well. So shout out to the mods, and I'll be back again on Wednesday, same bat time, same bat place, 8 p.m. Eastern time to right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, as always, as we end, shout out to our retired Chicago police officer friend. Hopefully he is doing well. Shout out to him out there in the streets. Okay. I think I have some more super chats here. I'll read those right quick. Then I wrap it on up, put the bow clean on top. Thank you to Maxi Max for becoming an ABL supporter. Thanks to Rebel Without a Reason who says, more people are awake than ever before. Trump 2024. That's right. Thank you to Bobcat MIT who says, I still miss the collab between ABL, B. Tatum, and Jericho Green. I know you're all busy, but come on, guys. One more time. Bobcat MIT also says, I know it's not your style, but a lot of us would wish you would reach out to the retired Chicago police officer to see how he's doing. I'll see what I can do. Okay, I'll see what I can do. But I think that will be a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.